Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. It is time on this 4th day of November to say welcome to Breakfast with Roger and Friends. And that includes Terry Chamberlain. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning.
Ooh, you're all decked out in the property of Dunlap alumni. Class of 1935. Oh, no, 75. Yeah, sorry. I thought I had a crooked number there. Anyway, and our good friend Mike Olson still recuperating from his knee replacement surgery. He's not here, but Chris Buckley is, and Chris knows what he's doing. He's doing everything he can to get us on YouTube.
We're on YouTube.
We are on
right.
YouTube. Okay. Hallelujah. And he joins as well. We have a wonderful program this morning. And that includes not only Terry and Chris, but also we're going to talk to our farm advisor, John Cross, down in Logan County in Emden, Illinois. He's going to let us know what kind of results did he, what was the yield, as they say in agriculture. And John, a super nice guy, will also be joined by Josh Bradshaw with Advanced Medical Transport, because they have one of their paramedics who has been nationally recognized, and he'll talk about it. Mary Burris, Mayor of Pekin, will join us as well to talk about some of the development that's going on in what was once known as the Celestial City. And when I bring that up, people give me a quizzical look like, I never heard that before. I'm going to ask her if she remembers that. And also Rick Swan, the Executive Director of the East Peoria Chamber of Commerce, will join us. And as usual, we will invite listeners, if they want to weigh in on any particular subject, to call us at 309-397-1458. And I can't forget the fact that Bob Reed, they have an honor flight, not well known, the final one of the year, leaving this morning. And one of the mover and shakers is Bob Reed, Air Force veteran, and he will join us at 7:15 to give us an update. In the meantime, let's do what we do every day. We don't copy the news, we write the news, and comprehensive in not only the news, but the weather as well. So let's get into the news, boys and girls, and bring you up to date. And we'll start with the weather, brought to you by Advanced Medical Transport of Central Illinois in a time of need. You know what? AMT, since we're talking about that, we will later this morning in more detail. They're there in a matter of minutes with the most skilled and advanced pre-hospital care possible. AMT, men and women dedicated to providing a better life through better health. And they do it under the leadership of Andrew Rand, one of the really neat guys. Weather-wise, a typical fall day. We'll start out with some cloudiness and plenty of winds this time of the year in central Illinois. Gradual clearing today, becoming sunny with a high of 67 degrees. Tonight, clear and 52. Tomorrow will be sunny and windy and 64. And Thursday, sunny and 62. And if you're looking for some showers, they'll roll in Thursday night, as our good friend Kyle Varno told us yesterday. Plenty of showers Thursday night with a low 52. Friday, sunny, 66, and we're a long way from that right now. Currently, our temperature 37 degrees. Now the news, and here's Terry.
Well, this is election day for some cities and states. New York City is in the national spotlight, as it appears there's a good chance an avowed socialist, Zoran Mamdani, will become the city's next mayor. Though he's never held elective office, he's won the support of many New Yorkers with promises to provide free public transportation, free child care, city-owned grocery stores, and freezes on rent. Mamdani also supports Hamas and is considered an opponent of the Jewish people.
President Trump yesterday threw his support for mayor behind former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. Trump said Cuomo, a Democrat, was a far better choice than Mamdani and even the Republican who should drop out, Curtis Sliwa. Sliwa has about as good a chance to win as betting it will snow in Busch Stadium next August. But he's still running.
Yeah, he's going to give it the old college try, as they say.
Yes.
Elsewhere, voters in New Jersey will choose a new governor. Trump has endorsed Republican candidate Jack Ciattarelli, who's running against Democrat Mikey Sherrill. There's a tight race in Virginia, where voters will elect a replacement for Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin. Youngkin has endorsed his lieutenant governor, Winsome Earl Sears. National media is supporting Democrat Abigail Spanberger. So is former President Barack Obama.
There are other races Democrats are hoping to see success so they can say Republican losses will, in their minds, be a rejection of the policies of President Trump. Who's to blame for the government shutdown, you ask? Well, we have the answer according to polls.
According to an NBC poll, 42% of Americans blame Democrats. 25% say it's the fault of Republicans. Though President Trump is not a member of Congress, the network liberals threw his name in the mix. So, 24% said it's his fault, thereby concluding 49% of those polled put the blame on Republicans. That, folks, is how the media manipulates the news and their surveys.
Pennsylvania Democrat Senator John Fetterman would probably take issue of the NBC report, as do Republicans. Fetterman appeared on national television and said Democrats own the government shutdown. Their demands, he said, are ill-timed and inappropriate. He said the thought that 42 million Americans are losing food stamp benefits is deeply distressing, and so it is.
It is. In local news, that former Illinois State University graduate assistant Derek Lopez will remain behind bars for allegedly making threats to shoot and kill President Donald Trump. Federal Judge Ron Hanna determined Lopez was a threat to the community. The El Paso resident had been warned by FBI agents his posts on social media were not protected by the Constitution, but he apparently ignored the warnings. He's also accused of making threats against another government official.
Yesterday, we announced that Advanced Medical Transport paramedic Ron Zaveda had been recognized by the American Ambulance Association for exemplary care and compassion on behalf of a hospice patient. Zaveda was awarded the 2025 Star of Life. Advanced Medical Transport Community Relations Director Josh Bradshaw will join us 7:30 this morning to tell us more.
There was a brazen armed robbery of a man on the city's East Bluff over the weekend. The 25-year-old victim says two men approached him in his backyard Saturday evening, robbed and pistol-whipped him, and then took keys to his vehicle before leaving. Police were given a good description of the bad guys. The incident took place in the area of Indiana and Archer Avenues.
And the last honor flight of the year is leaving the Peoria Airport this morning. From one veteran to another one, we'll talk to retired Air Force Bob Reed at 7:15 this morning. Bob, one of the leaders of our honor flight, so stay tuned for that.
And a fire and apartment complex for low-income individuals and families in the 200 block of North Madison caused about $80,000 damage yesterday. Fire investigators say the fire was started by a female resident who was arrested. 4 people were affected by the fire and had to be moved. And in breaking news, at least to us, Dick Cheney, former vice president, has died at the age of 84.
That has just now been released.
Yes.
Dick Cheney. That's too bad. Now a check of the news from our friends at WCBU, a service of Peoria Pet Crematory. The folks at Peoria Pet are experienced professionals offering several dignified options when you lose your pet. You can reach them at any hour of the day or night, 7 days a week at 309-713-1898. Peoria Pet Crematory, people who care. Now WCBU.
From the WCBU newsroom, I'm June Delahunty. Peoria Public Schools officials say this year's Illinois report card shows District 150 making significant improvements in several key areas and at almost every school. Superintendent Sharon Karat notes all but one of the district's 23 schools were rated in the top 3 designations for meeting student needs.
English, ELA, mathematics proficiency went up, attendance went up, teacher retention went up, teacher diversity went up, and so the majority of our indicators, we went up.
The designations take into account factors like academic performance, graduation rates, and student growth. Drivers in the Tri-County area are paying a little bit less for gas than a week ago as November begins, and around 15 cents below the cost at the start of October. The fuel cost tracking website Gas Buddy shows the average price per gallon at $3.14 in the Peoria Pekin market. That's down more than 2 cents from last week and 12 cents from a year ago. Gas Buddy lead analyst Patrick DeHaan says the price drop may not last long, pointing to ongoing refinery challenges in the Great Lakes region. Logan County officials say scammers are stealing personal information by claiming residents have missed jury duty. Several people in Logan County have reported phone calls and text messages threatening arrest warrants for missing jury duty. Such communications use Logan County officials' names to coerce recipients into giving out personal information, including credit card numbers. Law enforcement and court officials say they will never threaten to arrest a person who fails to appear for jury duty. A bid to crack down on steep homeowner insurance price hikes went down in flames in the Illinois House. Under the bill opposed by the insurance industry, companies would have to notify customers within 60 days of premium increases of at least 10%. Proponents say this would have given people time to shop around, but Republican State Representative Jeff Kiker was opposed.
That would interfere with the free market and damage the rates that the consumers pay and make them artificially high because of the regulation.
State Farm earlier this year raised homeowner premiums by an average of 27%, which Governor J.B. Pritzker condemned. I'm June Delahunty, WCBU News.
All right, it's time to get into sports. Chris Buckley's there with all the latest. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning. We begin our sports report this morning with the results of the Bradley basketball game yesterday morning in Rock Hill, South Carolina, against the Bonaventure. The Braves lost 69-63. They trailed 34-26 at halftime and actually outscored the Bonnies in the second half 37-35, but it wasn't enough. Bradley was down by 13 points but rallied to take a 6-point lead before falling behind. The Braves were tied with a little over a minute left in the game. They had a chance to tie, but an errant pass went out of bounds in the final seconds. The Braves play this Saturday at the Peoria Civic Center Arena against Central Michigan. The game time is at 7 p.m. The Monday Night Football game was in Dallas, where former President George H. Bush and former First Lady Laura Bush were on hand to cheer on the Cowboys against the Arizona Cardinals. It didn't help Dallas. They were behind at halftime, 17-7, and the final Arizona-Dallas score was Arizona 27, Dallas 17. And that's sports on this Tuesday morning. I'm Chris Buckley.
Hey, Chris, nice job. And unfortunately, the Braves, I think they've lost 2 in a row now. They lost to St. Louis at home, and they should beat Central Michigan. That's where my grandson spent his final year, as a matter of fact, in college, playing for Central Michigan. I forget the city that it's in, but it was not a memorable city. Had something to do with it. Yeah, exactly. Well, as you heard, it's going to be a relatively nice fall day, cloudy in the beginning, gradual clearing, reaching a high of 67 degrees. Just a little reminder, because we have the start of the show. Chris, tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and the wonderful business you're in, including putting us on YouTube. We're deeply indebted to.
Yeah, my name is Chris, and I'm originally from the Chicagoland area. I'm from the northwest suburbs. After college, moved out to LA, lived there for 10 years.
10 years?
I lived in LA for
I'm
10 years.
going to guess in the Los Angeles area.
Yes, I lived in LA for 10 years, all over LA, moved more times in 10 years than 10. That's how it works out there sometimes.
Yeah, what was your favorite area when you lived? I'm a little familiar because we went out, not every year, but close to it, because my sister lived initially in Santa Monica and
Yeah.
lived in an apartment complex, and you could see the ocean, and it was a neat area. And she later moved to Van Nuys. Am I right on that? I think that's what it was. And Simi Valley, where, what is it, the Reagan Museum, or is it Nixon's? Simi Valley has a presidential
Yeah.
library. I think it's Ronald Reagan, as I recall. Well, what was your favorite area?
I really liked, I lived at Park La Brea for 2 years. It's a big gated community, really,
Ooh.
and it was right next
High
to
rent.
It was right next to the La Brea Tar Pits and right next to, CBS right there and right across the street from the Grove. So there's a lot of stuff
Ooh,
to
yeah.
walk to and do. So I really liked that.
Chinatown.
I never
No?
really went over there
Okay.
to Chinatown.
Where do they put the footprints?
The very first place I lived was right off of Sunset Boulevard on
Okay.
Orange. So, I mean, you could look out my back window and you could see the Chinese theater.
Grauman's Chinese.
Grauman's, okay,
and that's
yeah,
where they do
yeah.
the handprints, and the Walk of Fame is all down Hollywood Boulevard.
I wonder why more Chinese restaurants like the one over in Morton doesn't have a walk of fame for Morton residents.
Yeah. Hey, that could be.
That could turn out to be
thing.
an attraction.
People, three.
Yeah. The Tar Pits, I remember seeing that, and I thought, is this when all the excitement is over? It's for the pits, to tell you
Well,
the
yeah, but it's
truth.
still pretty exciting to think that here's this right in the middle of this huge
Right.
cement
Well, you're right.
conglomeration, and then
Right.
you've got this the tar is still bubbling. And
Yeah.
And it's not nearly as big as you think it would be, but
Yeah,
it is
you're
kind of
right.
in the middle.
You're right. You know, I think at Peoria Asphalt, you could see much the same in the backyard.
Yeah.
I know at the Public Works Department, I think they have a tar pit.
Yeah, I think the most exciting thing about that apartment, especially when I first moved in, was when we looked out our bedroom window, we could see the Fox Tower
Yeah.
down Wilshire, and that was actually the Nakatomi Plaza from Die Hard. So I could look out my bedroom window and see Nakatomi Plaza, which is kind of cool.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, you bet. You know, one of the things that people enjoy, tourists going to California, the Los Angeles area, is they hope. I even went to my wife and I went to. I think we had the boys with us to that famous drugstore where stars have been discovered, and I forget the name of it, but
was it Schwab's?
well, let's see.
Was it on Lana Turner? If I didn't-
I don't know, but did you ever see any stars in your travels in the LA area and say, "Oh, that's John Wayne"?
I did. I would run into them every once in a while, but I also worked with them a lot.
Oh, you did.
So every day I went into work, there's always a lot of secrecy around stuff too. So I didn't know who I was working with or what I was doing until I showed up a lot of the time.
Really?
Well, we did a lot of satellite media tours. So satellite media tours, if you ever watch a morning show and it's like, oh, this person is live via satellite. We were the via satellite. So we would have the celebrity come in and we would have windows to go up and down on the satellite back then because it wasn't done over the internet. And, we would have 5-minute windows and we would hit all the morning shows across the country. So we'd get there at, sometimes we'd get there at 1, 2 in the morning. Because
Oh, my goodness.
well, 2 in the morning is 5
5
a.m.
a.m.
is 5 a.m. on the East Coast,
Right.
and some of these places like to pre-record, so they can put the segment wherever they want in their show. So we would do all the pre-records first, and a lot of these morning shows would start at like 6 a.m. And some of them did start at 5 a.m. and we would just boom, 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 and it was the same 5-minute interview across the country. All night, all morning.
You got a feel for the personalities of a lot of people. Who was the person you liked the most, and who was the person that you liked the least?
Well, I can say one of the warmest people that I've ever worked with is Ernest Borgnine.
Oh, really?
He was a delight to work with.
Yeah.
He was 93 when I met him,
Mm.
and he was just lit up that room. He was kind to every single person there, and everybody wanted him to be their grandpa.
I can believe it.
He was 93. What you remember? What year that was?
We could probably do the math, but
Okay.
you know.
A heartwarming story about Ernest Bergnine was when Royce was at Bally's entertaining. He managed to run into Ernest Bergnine, and they struck up a conversation, and it warmed up even more so after a while. And Ernest finally said, Royce, my wife and I are going to take a drive. I have a recreational vehicle tomorrow in the area. Would you like to go along? And Royce said, sure. He said, okay, I'll pick you up, I'll say at 9:30, 10 o'clock, whatever it was. And so he did. He pulled up to Bally's, and Royce came out, got in, spent the entire day traveling around with Ernest Borgnine. And he described him exactly the same way you did. Warm, kind, courteous, just a really, really neat guy. Okay, least liked person.
You can't put him on the spot
Yeah,
like that.
Well, they won't. Nobody will know.
No, there's a couple on the list, but it's best not to.
Oh,
It's
okay.
best not to.
Yes.
You know.
Well, I can
tell you off air.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, I was always a big fan of Sandy Patty, a well-known gospel singer, who's won National Dove Awards for Female Vocalist of the Year, etc., and so forth. Well, she came to Peoria, and my son worked at the Civic Center. He was part of the box office, and they would hear things about when an entertainer, and you know this because you worked at the Civic Center, that when an entertainer comes in, their agent or somebody, or maybe the star themselves, will tell you or tell the host company, in this case the Civic Center, what they want in their dressing room. And of all the ones who made requests and demands, he said Sandy Patty was the worst. And that really broke my heart because of what she represents, the business that she's in, gospel singing, praising the Lord and the Son of Christ, Jesus Christ, and you don't expect that. So
Well, at the same time, sometimes, like famously, you had Van Halen, that only the brown M&Ms and stuff
Right.
like that.
oh,
But
only the brown M&M.
Right, but
Really?
at the same time, the reason they put that in there, because it's not just dressing room. When a band comes in, they have a whole contract and they have a writer and they have specifications and a lot of stuff in there. And when you have a big band and you got a lot of technical stuff, there's things in there that is safety. It's a lot of it's
Yeah,
safety.
that makes sense.
And sometimes they throw things in there to make sure that the venue read the
It's
entire
actually
thing.
red. Yeah.
That's interesting.
So, there is another side to that. Sometimes, and you don't
Good
know
point,
why
good
certain
point.
things are in there. Sometimes they're in there for that, just to see if they read the whole
If they're paying
thing.
attention,
If
right?
they're paying attention, because some of the more detailed things are a lot more important. That isn't just dressing room.
And you also have to remember, too, they're humans, and maybe Sandy was just having a bad day at that time. They're human as we are, and not that we ever have a bad day.
Never.
But Sandy might have had a bad day.
I find a lot of the times, if somebody has something very particular, they'll travel with their own green room stuff. Like when we had Fluffy in there, he.
Who?
Gabriel Iglesias.
Yeah,
Fluffy?
he brought his own couches and TV, and you know what?
Wow.
It's kind of smart because he knows everything just works the way he wants it to work. He doesn't have to figure out the TV.
Well, that's
we
interesting.
put curtains over the TVs and stuff that were already in there to put his TV in front of it, But he brought it. We set it up, and you know what? It's what he's comfortable with. He doesn't have to mess with it. He knows this is what it is. So that makes sense.
Do stars, when you do things like that for stars, do they feel compelled to tip you like they do in restaurants and food
No,
places?
not really. What
Hey,
we
here's
do.
here's a 50. Go have a ball.
No.
Well, I'm
George-
going to stop doing that then.
Yeah, well, like when we did George Thorogood.
Who?
It was George Thorogood. This was over a year ago. We did this out in Bloomington. It was near the end of his tour, So the stagehands were giving all the extra booze out to all the, at the end of the night. They're like, oh, we got all this extra booze we don't need to bring with us. So they're, handing it out to people,
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But a lot of times we'll get, the bands will come and thank us and stuff. Saturday was actually really, really fun. I worked the show call for, it was Wonder Years, Yellow Card, and A Day to Remember. And we actually got to go out during A Day to Remember, and we were throwing beach balls, basketball, designed beach balls out in the audience, and they had to try to throw them in these big basketball hoops on the stage.
That's a great idea.
And then for the last song, they gave us all a bunch of rolls of toilet paper, and they had us come up on stage with the band, and we were throwing toilet paper at the audience, and that was kind of fun to do.
I guess that would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The rule
interesting.
was don't hit the band members.
Yeah, which is a good rule. Well, we went one year when we were out visiting my sister to NBC Studios in Burbank and to the Johnny Carson show. Unfortunately, Johnny wasn't there, and what her name?
Joan Rivers.
Joan Rivers was the host. She was okay, but we were there to see Johnny Carson. But the preliminary was the producer of the show, I think his name was Fred de Cordova.
Fred de Cordova?
Yeah, and you know what? He was wonderful. He warmed up the audience. He told jokes. He was outstanding at it. I didn't expect that to happen, and he actually was better than Joan Rivers, frankly speaking.
I saw Joan Rivers once. Yeah, that doesn't surprise
No,
me.
she. I don't know. Listening to her was almost, and watching her was almost like a person scraping their nails on the blackboard. That's pretty bad. I don't think she was that bad, for that matter. Well, gee, 10 years out there. Life was pretty hectic. My understanding, based on my own experience, is the worst thing about living in that area is traveling the highways, the interstates.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons why I moved so much, and it's so hard to pick a favorite area, because I would move to one side of the hill, and then all of a sudden I start getting a bunch of work on the other side of the hill, and then so then I move over back over there, and then all my work starts coming over, because when you're freelance your whole time, I had a couple studios that I would perpetually be working at, but I did a lot of freelance stuff, and and that was the stressful thing, because it's expensive to live out there.
Very expensive.
I mean, you could very easily work, 43 days straight, but then just as easily you could have 2 months of nothing. And a lot of my friends that actually had more solid jobs. One of my friends, he was he did clearances and stuff for Ancient Aliens. So all the footage and stuff, he had to get the rights and then whatever. But they only shoot, they do produce a show for 6 months out of the year. So he'd work and he made good money, and then he would go on unemployment for 6 months, and then he'd come back. And then he'd go on, and that's what a lot of people out there do is when they're on the main show. Yeah.
Well, they know how to work the system. Hey, we're going to talk to John Cross, our farm advisor from Logan County. But first, let's pause, bring you up to date with the stories that we're following, including the death of Dick Cheney at, did you say 88 years?
84.
84 years of age. We have other news, so stay tuned, and then we'll talk to, and we'll give you the weather also with Chris, and then we'll talk to John Cross, so stay tuned. And a pleasant good morning to everybody, and we begin with our news headlines and bringing you up to date on one thing or another, as we indicated, brought to you this morning by Spoon River Home Health, bridging the gap in health care. They've been around since 1993, caring for people of all ages in their homes where recovery and healing faster and more comfortable. Learn more from the folks at Spoon River Home Health at 309-245-0723. Terry?
It's election day for some cities and states. New York City is in the national spotlight. There is a good chance an avowed socialist, Zoran Mamdani, will become the city's next mayor. Though he's never held elective office, he's won the support of many New Yorkers with promises to provide free public transportation, free child care, city-owned grocery stores, and freezes on rent. Mamdani also supports Hamas and is considered an opponent of the Jewish people. President Trump yesterday threw his support for mayor behind former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. Trump said Cuomo, a Democrat, was a far better choice than Mamdani and even Republican Curtis Sliwa. Elon Musk has also endorsed Cuomo. Voters in New Jersey will choose a new governor. Trump has endorsed Republican candidate Jack Ciattarelli, who's running against Democrat Mikey Sherrill. There's a tight race in Virginia, where voters will elect a replacement for Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin. Youngkin has endorsed his Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears. Former President Barack Obama supports Abigail Spanberger. There are other races. Democrats are hoping to see success so they can say Republican losses will be a rejection of the policies of President Trump. But who's to blame for the government shutdown? According to an NBC poll, 42% of Americans blame Democrats. 25% say it's the fault of Republicans. Though President Trump is not a member of Congress, the network liberals threw his name in the mix. So, 24% said it's his fault, thereby concluding 49% of those polled put the blame on Republicans. Pennsylvania Democratic Senator John Fetterman would probably take issue with the NBC report, as do Republicans. Fetterman appeared on national television and said Democrats own the government shutdown. Their demands, he said, are ill-timed and inappropriate. He said the thought that 42 million Americans are losing food stamp benefits is deeply distressing. And local news that former ISU graduate assistant Derek Lopez will remain behind bars for allegedly making threats to shoot and kill President Donald Trump. Federal Judge Ron Hanna determined Lopez was a threat to the community. The El Paso resident had been warned by FBI agents his posts on social media were not protected by the Constitution, but he apparently ignored the warnings. Yesterday, we announced that advanced medical transport paramedic Ron Zaveda had been recognized by the American Ambulance Association for exemplary care and compassion of a hospice patient. Zaveda was awarded the 2025 Star of Life. Advanced Medical Transport Community Relations Director Josh Bradshaw will join us at 7:30 this morning to tell us more. There was an armed robbery of a man in the city's East Bluff over the weekend. The 25-year-old victim says two men approached him in his backyard Saturday evening, robbed and pistol-whipped him, and then took keys to his vehicle before leaving. Police were given a good description of the bad guys. The incident took place in the area of Indiana and Archer Avenues. A fire at an apartment complex for low-income individuals and families in the 200 block of North Madison caused about $80,000 in damage yesterday. Fire investigators say the fire was started by a female resident who was arrested. 4 people were affected by the fire and had to be moved. And as Roger mentioned at the beginning of the news, Dick Cheney, former vice president, has died at the age of 84. And those are the headlines, Roger.
All right, now a check of the weather with Chris, sponsored by Certified Public Accountant and Tax Specialist Matt Wall. He's with Gordon Stockman Wall. He's been around helping individuals and businesses with their finances for over 40 years. You can reach Matt Wall, CPA, by phone today at 309-692-4030. Chris, what do you have?
Well, today, Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. Today, cloudy and windy with gradual clearing, becoming sunny with a high of 67 degrees. Tonight, clear and 52 for the low. Tomorrow, sunny and windy, high of 64. Thursday, sunny and 62. Showers Thursday night, low 52. Friday, sunny and 66. Good morning. It is currently 37 degrees.
And it's currently time to talk to our dear and wonderful friend and our farm advisor, John Cross, down in Logan County in Emden, Illinois. Good morning, John.
Hey, good morning, Roger.
Thanks for joining us. Is it early in your household?
Yeah, well, yeah, I've been up for a while, but yeah, it's nice early morning, beautiful sunrise, and Yeah, nice morning.
John, everything is in, I assume, the corn, the beans, and everything, and you're just kind of relaxing. Are you able to sleep in, or do you have the automatic clock that wakes you up like you got to go out and plow or pick corn?
Well, no, you're right. I've kind of got an automatic clock. I think most farmers do. It's you get in a routine and wake up about the same time every morning. So yeah, I'm up and at 'em.
You're up and at 'em. Well, give us your on a scale of 1 to 10. How was your yield this year?
Well, I would say, according to the guys I've talked to in our general area here in northern Logan County, we were pretty pleased with the yields considering, the amount of rainfall we got during the growing season. I'd say our corn yields were average for probably our last 5-year average. So the yield this year was about average, and for beans, I'd say they were a little above average.
Now, I would have guessed that beans, because don't they require more moisture than corn?
Well, not necessarily. They need a more moisture during their pod sale towards the end of the growing season. Like if we start harvesting mid-September, August is when you'd like to get some good rains for those beans to fill out and get bigger, and so yeah, I wouldn't say they needed more rain, but different timing than corn a lot of times.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, based on what you're telling me, there's a good chance you're going to buy a new car this year.
Well, I don't know. It all depends on what my wife wants.
Yeah, oh, that's right. I forgot.
Gotta keep her happy.
Yeah. It doesn't matter whether it's raining or it didn't rain or what the sun is. It's what the needs are, or maybe the wants are of the spouse, for that matter. Now, what's the market looking at right now in terms of up or down for?
Since early October, beans have been kind of on a steady incline, and then, of course, with President Trump and talking with China to buy more soybeans, that sure boosted the soybean price. I'd say in the last month it's up $1, so that's really a plus and a good sign. Corn hasn't come up quite as much yet, but hopefully maybe that'll improve too as time goes on here.
Now, you store the corn and the beans and so forth. What criteria do you look at about when you sell? Do you sell right after harvest time, or do you hold on for it? In essence, do you kind of play the market?
Well, I don't know. A farmer's got to kind of make decisions at harvest time or even a little before what you think and what you hear about the markets and what they might do. Of course, nobody knows exactly or can predict what the markets are going to do, but try to give it your best judgment decision there. Most guys kind of try to hit some rallies and kind of spread it out a little bit. A lot of guys will sell right out of the combine, right off the field, so you don't have to pay a storage fee. This year, maybe guys held on to it since the prices were lower and hoping for a better market. So it just depends on your situation and maybe when you need the money.
Yeah.
But that's not a good way to market either. You just kind of got to look to see if it's better to sell now and not store it or hold it and hope the market goes up. So
yeah, have you ever been in a situation?
It's a gamble.
Yes, it sure is, and it sounds like that. It's amazing. Have you ever been in a position where you sold and the next day it went up $1 and said, "Why did I do that?"
$1, but yeah. Yeah, just for example, I sold some yesterday morning. Beans were up 7, and then at the end of the day, they closed up 19 cents. So, the market's constantly fluctuating and varying, and you just got to look at that and say, I was happy with that price, and the market's going up, so that's even better yet. So hopefully have a little more to sell. So.
Well, no wonder you get up early. You can't sleep. No, I'm just kidding. A lot of people think once you bring in the harvest and it's all over, your work is done. But you've got a lot more to do. And tell us the importance of, I guess, turning the soil over.
Yeah, well, right now most guys are putting on their fertilizer, their phosphorus and potassium and nitrogen. So they're, preparing for next year's crop. And then a lot of guys do some tillage. There's so many different ways to prepare the ground. Some guys do no tillage or a no-till. And then, some guys like me are more conventional, working the soil and preparing it for next year's seed bed. So there's a wide range, but most guys are fertilizing, doing tillage work, and of course then there's even when that's all done, you got a lot of machinery to clean up and service and put away for springtime. So yeah, there's a lot of work yet to do yet this fall.
Yeah, you use the word tillage. You want to explain that to a city slicker?
Well, tillage is just trying to turn over the residue, the corn stalks and the bean stubble, bury that a little bit, mix it with the soil so it decomposes. And when you come in the spring, you got a good seed bed. So you either got to decide if you want to no-till and leave the residue there and plant between the rows for next year, or like me, like a guy that's got conventional till, I work the ground, just my soybean stubble, and then I usually take a chisel plow and turn over the corn stalks so they're somewhat buried and covered up.
Do you rotate crops in different fields? Like maybe one year you do corn, the next year do you plant beans in that field?
Yes.
Is that a regular process?
Yeah. I'm 50-50. I rotate every year. I got about the same acres of beans as I do corn, and I just flip them from year to year, corn to beans and back and forth. But some guys plant corn on corn the next year. So yeah, it just decide. You have to make that decision too. If you think it'd be more profitable to put out a few more corn acres versus beans, a guy might put a little more corn on corn for next year, so you have more corn acres. I just usually stick with a corn bean rotation and rotate them every year. That's kind of what I do, and I think corn yields are a little better usually. Corn following beans, and for weed pressure, insects, diseases, it's always a good practice to rotate your crops.
One final question. With everything you've described, not only this morning but in past conversations we've had with you, high-risk industry you're a part of, and hard work and long hours. Why do you do it, John, instead of maybe running a machine at Caterpillar or selling life insurance or automobiles? Why are you into farming?
Well, I'm a fourth generation. I grew up with farming. It's a way of life, and it's a good way of life. It's something you grow up with. You love doing, being outdoors, working the land is satisfying. Waiting for a harvest and hoping for a good harvest and see how things go in that particular year. It's just a good way of life. it's satisfying and just rewarding. There's good years and bad years, which we all have, and you hope for the best, but sometimes it doesn't always work out that way, and you try to make some decisions that will help you for next year. And but farming is just a way of life. It's a good life, and it's being outdoors and appreciation for creation and how things grow. It's just a good time. We farmers wouldn't do anything else. That's the way they want to live their lives and work the ground and are happy to do it.
Yeah. When things get difficult, is that when you think about starting to drink? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I've heard that there are times when you use communion as a time to overindulge. 3 or 4 times a day
Not
you have someone.
overindulged, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's always great talking to you. God bless you for what you do. The salt of the earth, the farming business and industry, a lot more sophisticated than it was with your first generation of the Cross family, isn't it?
It sure is. A lot of changes have been made, a lot of improvements in everything in farming, so that's always good.
Well, God bless you. To you and Jane and your entire family, a happy Thanksgiving.
Well, thank you, Roger. You have a great Thanksgiving, too. Always a pleasure to talk with you as well.
Thanks a lot, John. Appreciate it.
Yep.
John Cross, one of the really neat guys, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him going on to fascinate millions with his talent? 1 in 260,000. The odds of this born racer having 157 career top 10 finishes in NASCAR? 1 in 125 billion. But every driver seeks the pinnacle of their achievements. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year? 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. He has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
647, 38 degrees our temperature, up 1 degree. Today cloudy, windy, gradual clearing, becoming sunny. It's going to be a nice fall day. The high 67 degrees. Chris Buckley is with us, and Chris is sitting in for Mike Olson, who's on rehab after knee replacement surgery, and we talked about his exciting life for 10 years in Los Angeles. What drew you to Los Angeles? Job opportunities, or, hey, I want to get in this industry, and that's the capital of the world, you might say?
Well, okay. Well, I went to Columbia College Chicago, studied film, and
What kind of film did you study? Gone with the Wind?
Everything.
Andy Griffith Show?
We did history of cinema, cinematography. We went all the way back to silent films, just really kind of understanding the art and the craft of it. But yeah, so I went to school. I wanted to direct and write. And
Wow, you studied writing and directing? and so forth?
writing, directing. I
Wow.
studied photography as my minor. Animation was a minor. So I do stop motion as well. And
Well, you know the industry then, don't you?
yeah, and
Has,
so
has everybody followed that pattern, or did they just, some people get lucky and get into the industry and learn on the job?
it's a mix. I found that once I got out there, nobody cares that you have a degree. It's all about, everybody starts at the bottom. Having a degree doesn't boost you up. And a lot of people didn't like to work with people that had a film degree because they thought they knew everything. Because you have to realize, even though you know what you're doing, you have to realize you know nothing. You get on set and you got to listen and you do what they tell you to do because these people have more real world experience than you. And you you do it.
Listen to what they say. Well, a question I've always wanted answered, and I've never asked anyone who would give me the correct answer. What's the difference between a producer and a director?
The director is going to be on set every day. They're the ones calling the shots. They're
Are they the ones that sit in the chair with a megaphone
Yeah.
and tell people what to do and
Yeah,
when to do it?
so the easiest way, it's a generality, obviously, but the best way is that the director is there every day, scene by scene, and the director works with the actors. That's a lot of people forget that, but the director's primary job is to get the performance from the actors that he wants on a scene-to-scene basis. Yes, they pick the shots, they pick the camera, but you have the cinematographer there that is actually designing and lighting and getting the shots right. So the director works with the cinematographer. So the cinematographer is what you see. But the director, he's basically the boss on set, where he is working with the actors, getting the performances out of there. He's saying, okay, we're going to this next, we're going to that next. Producers are back end. They're, they handle the money. They handle, like if you see somebody as an executive producer, sometimes that's just a thank you.
Oh,
Or because they were able to get some sort of funding. But then after that, maybe their job was done. Or a lot of times you see actors on there as an executive producer, and it's because the movie only got made because they signed on to it.
I've seen that more and more. I've been paying attention on TV shows, and oftentimes, like the two leads will be executive producer, and I kind of take that as a nod that yes, they've had some say in it. Maybe they have put some funds.
have some money invested in it.
Right,
Yeah.
but the producer is above the director.
Oh, really?
So the
In
producer,
power and influence?
yeah. So the producer,
Ooh.
so at the Academy Awards, right? You have Best Director, Best Picture is won by the producer.
Interesting.
That's why the producers go up to collect that.
Right. So the
Okay.
producers win Best Picture. There are times where depending. I mean, a lot of times the director is the producer. That happens a lot if the director really is the driving force. But the example is like Nightmare Before Christmas. Everybody associates that with Tim Burton, but he produced the movie. But Henry Selick directed the movie. But at the same time, the characters, the story, all that was Tim Burton. He created all of that. So there are producers that are very heavily involved in the creative
Very
process.
hands-on, yeah.
George Lucas, he produced a lot of stuff, and he didn't direct Indiana Jones, but he was there at the beginning, at the inception, developing the story. So there are producers out there that are very involved in the creative process, fine-tuning, getting the story right. The director is just the one on set every day. It's really the director's vision. And a lot of stuff falls on the shoulders of directors, even if it's the producers telling you to make changes and cut stuff. That's why there famously there was some directors chose to take their name off of movies because of too much studio interference. So the producers are really the studio, and the director is on set making it happen.
One of my favorite stories that Jonathan Withers, the great comedian, shared with me about Mork and Mindy, that he had a script and he didn't think it was very funny. And he told the director, I don't think it's very funny. I want to look out the window and claim to see the abdominal snowman. And the director said, no, stick to the script, Jonathan. He said, it isn't funny. And they said, don't worry, we'll sweeten it, meaning they'll put in crowd laughter, canned laughter to make. So the director, even though Jonathan, very famous, popular, loved, so forth, took a back seat to the director. Like you said, the director is in charge. Now, I would suggest that some directors might be flexible and say, that's not a bad idea, Jonathan. This one wasn't.
Well, I mean, a lot of directors, their job is to work with those actors. And if they trust those actors, some actors are really good at improv. you know, and there's some movies, I mean, like Caddyshack, like most of that dialogue was improv.
I can believe that.
The script was there to kind of, this is the basic story, this is basically what happens in the scene, you guys have fun. Some directors are very loose like that. Some directors, you have to read it word for word what's on the page. And if you flub a word, we're reshooting. And that's the director's vision, you know, and it's the relationship of the actor and the director. You know, how much they trust each other. Sometimes they start working on a scene, and the actor will come up to the director and be like, "Hey, I got some ideas for this. Let's sit down. Let's workshop this." And they'd send the crew on break, and they sit there and they block it and workshop it a few times. And sometimes that's when the best scenes happen, because it feels more natural. It feels more. It's hard to write where it's 100% natural.
All right, we'll find out who the producer is and the director for our pet tip of the day.
Today's pet tip is brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Pet lovers are dedicated to their animals, all species from horses to turtles and of course cats and dogs. If you are a pet lover, learn these little-known, somewhat amazing facts about your pet. Caring for our pets is just like caring for children. We need to remember their treatments and appointments and keep them current. Sometimes, with all that's going on in our lives, this can be difficult. I suggest you use a family calendar that you write your pet's needs right along with your family's appointments. If you use the calendar on your smartphone, tablet, or other electronic device, just key in the things you need to remember and have it beep you when a task is due. It's easy to remember to feed, water, and walk a pet, but when was the last time you bathed your dog, clipped their nails, or gave them their monthly flea treatment? Today's flea treatments are designed to work in such a way that we need only apply the treatment once a month. But it has to be done regularly and consistently to be effective. Monthly also makes it easy to forget. Bathing, depending on the breed, should be done once a month as well. Nails should be clipped every 2 weeks, and dental cleaning should be done yearly, the same as vaccinations. If we know we have something coming due, it's easier to fit it into our schedules rather than scrambling at the last minute to update vaccinations or paying more to bring an animal current on their treatments. Dental cleanings is one of those treatments that, if missed, can cause you more expense. Plaque left untreated causes heart disease. So make use of whatever device you have and add your pet's needs to your calendar. This whisker of information has been made possible by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting in partnership with Spot, Saving Pets One at a Time, and KSBR Studios. Produced by Joseph C. McGuire and theme music by Stuardo Glasser.
Today's pet tip has been brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Well, I love our pet tip of the day. Special thanks to the folks who make it possible, Peoria Pet Crematory, and Bruce Morgan and Lance and the whole gang on North Adams Street. That's not Averville, by the way. That's near Averville, what was once Averville, as my memory serves me, since I was raised in Averville. Peoria Pet Crematory is in, I think, the 1400 block of North Adams. Am I right on that? Because I know you've been there.
I think they're in the 1300 block now. They moved
13?
up a block. Yeah.
They did, okay. Well, the next street as you go west is Jefferson. And when I was born, my mom and dad and my brother, who was born before me, lived in, I believe, the 12, 13, or 1400 block of North Jefferson. So, but when Dad later moved when I was 4 years old to the Averville section of Peoria, I think the dividing line was like Abington or Van Buren or Camlin. That entire area north was part of the village of Averville. They had their own mayor, their own consul, et cetera, and so forth, fire department.
Isn't there a building kind of as you go around that curve there? It's a brick building, and
It's called the
does it say
Avery
Averyville?
Building.
Yeah.
Sorry. Averville, Avery, A-V-E-R-Y, I believe was in the farm implement business, similar to R.G. Letourneau, which later on was developed across the street. Merle Jans, well-known Caterpillar executive, actually worked for R.G. Letourneau, who was a Christian businessman out of Oklahoma that started the company in Peoria. And by golly, I remember they ran 3 shifts, and in the summer, you would drive by and the windows to the plant were open and you could see the machines and the people working there. It was just a wonderful time, and that's where my dad was, had his barbershop initially in the 2900 block of North Madison, right across from what used to be McDonald's. Of course, McDonald's was nowhere around at that particular time, and later he bought a building at 3011 North Adams and turned it into not only a barbershop, but he had an apartment behind it that he rented out, and upstairs he rented out. And that was the story of my dad. He would buy buildings or houses, turn them into apartments. You can't do that anymore due to zoning codes and issues anyway, but now you know the rest of the story. Anyway, we have more to come on Breakfast with Roger and Friends on WAZU on this beautiful Tuesday fall morning where we have 38 degrees. Chris Buckley is here. We're going to hear from Chris with weather and the news with Terry Chamberlain. In the next hour, we're going to talk to the Honor Flight is leaving and may have already left. We'll talk to Bob Reed, retired member of the United States Air Force, one of the key leaders, movers and shakers for the Honor Flight. We'll talk to him at 7:15. And we have a paramedic who is honored with a national award. Josh Bradshaw from Advanced Medical Transport will join us at 7:30. So we'll have a full agenda for you. Thanks for sticking around on WAZU FM 90.7, also on YouTube. A pleasant good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, November 4th, and we start with a check of the weather. And our weather this morning is brought to you by our good friend Sam Lilly. This is enrollment time for Medicare until the 7th of December. And a little reminder, this period gives you a chance to review your Medicare plan and make changes, because there are changes, to make sure you have the best coverage. And the guy who is the real veteran when it comes to Medicare is Sam Lilly. He's available today at 309-245-4374. Sam Lilly and Associates, again, 309-245-4374. All right, Chris, what do you have in the way of weather?
Okay, well, today is Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. Today, cloudy and windy with gradual clearing, becoming sunny with a high of 67 degrees. Tonight, clear and 52 for the low. Tomorrow, sunny and windy, high of 64. Thursday, sunny and 62. Showers Thursday night, low 52. Friday, sunny and 66 degrees. Currently, it is 37 degrees, and now to the news.
This is election day for some cities and states. New York City is in the national spotlight as it appears there's a good chance an avowed socialist, Zoran Mamdani, will become the city's next mayor. Though he's never held elective office, he's won the support of many New Yorkers with promises to provide free public transportation, free child care, city-owned grocery stores, and freezes on rent. Mamdani also supports Hamas. and is considered an opponent of the Jewish people.
President Trump yesterday threw his support for mayor behind former New York Governor and Democrat Andrew Cuomo. Trump said Cuomo was a far better choice than Mondami and even the Republican Curtis Sliwa. Sliwa has about as good a chance to win as betting it will snow in St. Louis in next August.
Elsewhere, voters in New Jersey will choose a new governor. Trump has endorsed Republican candidate Jack Ciattarelli, who's running against Democrat Mikey Sherrill. There's a tight race in Virginia, where voters will elect a replacement for Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin. Youngkin has endorsed his Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears. National media is supporting Democrat Abigail Spanberger. So is former President Barack Obama.
And, of course, there are other races. Democrats are hoping to see success so they can say Republican losses will be a reflection of the policies of President Trump. Well, there is a question that begs answers. Who's to blame for the current government shutdown?
According to an NBC poll, 42% of Americans blame Democrats. 25% say it's the fault of Republicans. Though President Trump is not a member of Congress, the network liberals threw his name in the mix. So, 24% said it's his fault, thereby concluding 49% of those polled put the blame on Republicans. That, folks, is how the media manipulates the news and their surveys.
Pennsylvania Democrat Senator John Fetterman would probably take issue with the NBC report, as do Republicans, as you can tell. Fetterman appeared on national television and said Democrats own the government shutdown. He said their demands are ill-timed and inappropriate. He said the thought that 42 million Americans are losing food stamp benefits is deeply distressing.
In local news, that former Illinois State University grad assistant, Derek Lopez, will remain behind bars for allegedly making threats to shoot and kill President Donald Trump. Federal Judge Ron Hanna determined Lopez was a threat to the community. The El Paso resident had been warned by FBI agents his posts on social media were not protected by the Constitution, but he apparently ignored the warnings. He's also accused of making threats against another government official.
Yesterday, we announced that advanced medical transport paramedic Ron Zaveda had been recognized by the American Ambulance Association for exemplary care and compassion on behalf of a hospice patient. Zaveda was awarded the 2025 Star of Life. Advanced Medical Transport Community Relations Director Josh Bradshaw will join us 7:30 this morning, about 25 minutes from now, to tell us more.
There was a brazen armed robbery of a man on the city's East Bluff over the weekend. The 25-year-old victim says two men approached him in his backyard Saturday evening, robbed and pistol-whipped him, and then took keys to his vehicle before leaving. Police were given a good description of the bad guys. The incident took place in the area of Indiana and Archer Avenues.
The last honor flight of the year, ladies and gentlemen, leaving the Peoria Airport this morning. From one veteran to another, we'll talk to retired Air Force veteran Bob Reed after our news, weather, and sports block this morning. Bob is one of the leaders of our honor flights, and it's always an honor to talk to Bob Reed.
Yesterday, an afternoon fire at an apartment complex for low-income individuals and families happened in the 200 block of North Madison, caused about $80,000 in damage. Fire investigators say the fire was started by a female resident who was arrested. 4 people were affected by the fire and had to be moved. And as we've mentioned earlier, Dick Cheney, former vice president, has died at the age of 84.
Now we have news from WCBU brought to you by Steve Sink. He's the managing partner of PHX Affiliates. Steve has more than 20 years working with clients confidentially and professionally as a business broker. He knows business, and if you're interested in buying a business, maybe you want to sell a business, the go-to guy is Steve Sink, and you reach Steve today at 309-696-8508. Now more news.
From the WCBU newsroom, I'm June Delahunty. Peoria Public Schools officials say this year's Illinois report card shows District 150 making significant improvements in several key areas and at almost every school. Superintendent Sharon Karat notes all but one of the district's 23 schools were rated in the top 3 designations for meeting student needs.
English, ELA, mathematics proficiency went up, attendance went up, teacher retention went up, teacher diversity went up. And so the majority of our indicators, we went up.
Fee designations take into account factors like academic performance, graduation rates, and student growth. Drivers in the Tri-County area are paying a little bit less for gas than a week ago as November begins, and around 15 cents below the cost at the start of October. The fuel cost tracking website Gas Buddy shows the average price per gallon at $3.14 in the Peoria Pekin market. That's down more than 2 cents from last week and 12 cents from a year ago. Gas Buddy lead analyst Patrick DeHaan says the price drop may not last long, pointing to ongoing refinery challenges in the Great Lakes region. Logan County officials say scammers are stealing personal information by claiming residents have missed jury duty. Several people in Logan County have reported phone calls and text messages threatening arrest warrants for missing jury duty. Such communications use Logan County officials' names to coerce recipients into giving out personal information, including credit card numbers. Law enforcement and court officials say they will never threaten to arrest a person who fails to appear for jury duty. A bid to crack down on steep homeowner insurance price hikes went down in flames in the Illinois House. Under the bill opposed by the insurance industry, companies would have to notify customers within 60 days of premium increases of at least 10%. Proponents say this would have given people time to shop around, but Republican State Representative Jeff Kiker was opposed.
That would interfere with the free market and damage the rates that the consumers pay and make them artificially high because of the regulation.
State Farm earlier this year raised homeowner premiums by an average of 27%, which Governor J.B. Pritzker condemned. I'm June Delahunty, WCBU News.
Hey, it's time for sports, everybody. And sitting in for the rehabbing Michaels and Chris Buckley. What do you have this morning, Chris?
Well, we begin our sports report this morning with the results of the Bradley basketball game yesterday morning in Rock Hill, South Carolina, against St. Bonaventure. The Braves lost 69-63. They trailed 34-26 at halftime and actually outscored the Bonnies in the second half, 37-35, but it wasn't enough. Bradley was down by 13 points but rallied to take a 6-point lead before falling behind. The Braves are tied with a little over a minute left in the game. They had a chance to tie, but an errant pass went out of bounds in the final seconds. The Braves play this Saturday at the Peoria Civic Center Arena against Central Michigan, game time 7 p.m. The Monday Night Football game was in Dallas, where former President George H. Bush and former First Lady Laura Bush were on hand to cheer on the Cowboys against the Arizona Cardinals. It did not help Dallas. They were behind at halftime, 17-7. And the final score, Arizona 27, Dallas 17. And that's sports on this Tuesday morning.
Oh, great, Chris. And we're on the air to cheer on our veterans. And one of our veterans that is also a cheerleader for them is our good friend Bob Reed. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Roger. How are you today?
Well, we're fine. You're out at the airport, I assume?
Yes.
And the plane is getting ready to leave, or has it left?
The plane is in the air.
In the air. And how many veterans on this, the last honor flight of the year?
We had 71 veterans and their guardians.
Well, I'll tell you what, every time you're at full capacity, are you not?
Oh, yes. Yes, we are.
Well, it all started last night. Tell us about what you do the night before the flight.
Well, the night before the flight is called a pre-flight dinner. And the veterans come there with their guardian, and they'll each veteran can bring 2 guests, and the guardian can bring 1. And they get their shirt and their hats. And we have the Gibson Girls, and they sing different songs, patriotic songs. We had a tremendous meal provided by Hy-Vee. And then afterwards, we had a few comments on what would the next day was going to be like, the weather, what to pack, what time to be at the airport, and everyone showed up on time, and like I said, they're in the air.
Yeah, amazing. You have someone with the radio on in the background, because I can hear feedback of the radio. one listening next to you, or is it your radio?
No, hold on.
All right.
Just hold on a second.
All right, good. Just a little technical.
Okay, how's that?
That's much better.
Nope,
Thanks. Yeah, I don't hear it. It's okay now.
Okay.
All right. Any rate, you mentioned about the Guardians. Are there veterans that have reached out and said, I would like to go, but I don't have anyone to go with or will be with me? Do you also accommodate them?
We accommodate, and we have a group of volunteers who've been with us for several years, and they are tapped to be a guardian for any veteran. We have a group of young ladies also that are veterans themselves that from time to time have been guardians. And the guardian fee is $500. The guardian pays the fee. Even our volunteers that we're going to take that veteran, they will pay the fee also.
Yeah. Have you ever taken a survey of the veterans to determine how many have been on flights representing their service in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, Coast Guard, etc., so that you know, well, there are more, not that it means anything other than gathering statistics, more members of the Army have gone, next is Navy, next is Marines, etc., and so forth?
Well, usually you have a large number of either Army or Navy. And then the Marine Corps is in there also. We only had one person from the Coast Guard on this flight. We had maybe 6 or 8 Air Force on this flight.
Yeah, and remind everybody the backup, the medical personnel that goes along on each of these flights to ensure the safety and welfare of the veterans, because some of them are long in tooth, you might say, and need to be closely watched, but you take good care of that concern.
Oh, yes. In fact, we have a medical team goes with us. We have a doctor, several nurses, paramedics, EMTs. Now, the EMTs and everything help with the unloading and loading of other equipment. We have medical teams posted at the different sites to where they can keep an eye on these veterans also, and they all also wear a yellow-colored shirt. And these guardians and veterans are saying if you have an issue, you spot the medical team. That's the guys and girls with the yellow shirts and wavy arms, and we'll get there as soon as we can.
Yeah. Remind everybody again what the agenda is for the veterans. When they land in Washington, D.C., where do the first memorial do they go to?
Okay, when we land, we have 4 buses waiting. Each person is assigned to a different bus, and they'll have an agenda card with them, and usually they hit, it could be the World War II memorial first. It depends on traffic construction going on, because there's an itinerary that we follow time-wise, and there's also could be 8 or 10 other honor flights that same day that are out there. So they usually will hit like the World War II, the changing of the guard of the Tomb of the Unknown. You'll also see Audie Murphy's grave, the most highly decorated soldier of World War II. And then from there we'll see the Korean Memorial. And then we'll see the Lincoln Memorial, the Vietnam Wall, the Vietnam Memorial, the Nurses Memorial, back on the bus. And from there we'll have a boxed lunch, and we will then go to the Marine Memorial, the Navy Memorial, and usually they finish up at the Air Force Memorial, where you'll be able to look down and see where the terrorist aircraft hit the Pentagon.
Wow.
And then off to your left, you'll see the Capitol building.
That's amazing agenda. I'm going to guess that some people start out walking, but it sounds like a lot of walking. I'm sure you have wheelchairs to back up if a veteran says, you know, I didn't know it would be this much walking, and say, don't worry about it. We've got a wheelchair for you if you need it.
That is correct. Right now, I think this flight today, I think we took about 45 to 50 wheelchairs. Some of these are extras, because about 2 o'clock, everybody's starting to run out a little bit of gas.
Yeah. I can,
and
I can
even
imagine
the
it.
Guardian.
Yeah.
So that's when the Guardian says, he tells that veteran, I'm kicking in now, have a seat. It's my time to start touring with you, because they'll be walking over 4 miles that day, and it's all
Oh,
hard
wow.
surface. Either
Yeah.
blacktop,
Yeah.
concrete, marble, you name it, and you're going to be walking on it. So that's why we emphasize nice pair of walking shoes or tennis shoes to wear.
I think all of these memorials are very touching, and the experience is very emotional. Is there any one particular memorial that seems to affect the veterans more than some of the others?
Well, I can tell you, Roger, when we first started off with this 13 years ago, I would watch these different veterans from the different branches of service, and you see them staring at, let's say, the Army memorial there, and they would stare and stare. Well, they were reflecting back when they were 17, 18 years old.
Yeah.
The same way when you went to that Marine memorial, and they would just stare at it. Well, right now, as these veterans now, they're in their 80s, and they're looking at the Vietnam memorial, because that's the group that many of the World War II veterans are deceased or they can't make it. The Korean veterans there, we've taken a tremendous amount of them, and we're still getting them on the flights.
Yeah. Well, I haven't been on one of the honor flights. I have been there to Washington, D.C. I don't mind telling you, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, the whole service and the whole environment is very moving. And I'm sure, and you do visit that, do you not?
Oh, yes, that's one of our first stops
Yeah.
there. And how they do this, those veterans that are in a wheelchair, they have a special observation area. And they're very close, and the first person to come out will be the sergeant of the guard. And as he comes in, he will actually pivot on this marble and scrape his heel off his boot. And that is him saluting the honor flight veterans.
No
From
kidding.
there, he goes up to the front of where the people are standing, or sitting, brings everyone to a standing position. At that time, the second tomb guard comes on, and he does the same thing. As he comes in there, he will scrape his heel on the marble. That marble actually has a divot at there and at the opposite end. That's where the soldiers turn around and count 20 seconds, and then they march down to the other end. Well, as he completes a weapon and uniform inspection, and then they both march together, and then they rotate the one guard out, and then as he comes down, he will scrape his heel across the pavement there, let him know, I too am saluting you honor flight veterans. So when you hear them clapping their taps together on their boots, the first tomb guards were cavalry soldiers, and they were wearing spurs. So in order to honor that first tomb guards, that's why they put the taps on the boots of them.
Did not know that. Interesting information. One of the other sites that can be very moving is the memorial of the Iwo Jima, the Battle of Iwo Jima, and the statuettes that represents is very touching, at least was for me.
You know, it is very touching. And when these Marines come off the bus, they all start saluting that memorial.
Wow.
And if you look at it closely, towards the top of where the platform is, where the memorial is, you'll see this gold lettering. And that's the gold lettering around there is every combat that the Marine Corps has been involved with.
It is an exciting experience, I know, and a long day for the veterans. How long a flight is it to get there, and I assume the same amount of time to get back?
2 hours gate to gate. Now, when they come back tonight, we'll get them off the plane, and they are greeted by the commander of the Air National Guard, and then they'll have a group of the Knights of Columbus, 4th degree, And as they come down, we get them lined up. As they come down that ramp, the doors are opened up. You'll hear the bagpipes and the drummers. The people are cheering as they come down that ramp. The Patriot Riders are there. Now, these are men and women, and they are wearing their leather jackets and everything. They're holding the American flag, and you will hear them say to each veteran, "We've got your back. You're at home with us now. Welcome home, brother or sister. We have your six." That's when these veterans start back, and I say their emotions change right then. They're finally getting the recognition they did not get the first time they came home. So then the family's waiting for them.
Yeah, and so is the whole world for that matter, at least our world in central Illinois. Do you have a total number of veterans who have been a part of the honor flight since it began in what year?
We started in 2013 was our first flight.
Yeah.
We've taken close to 3,000 veterans.
It's absolutely amazing. And when you stop to think, there is an expense that you have to meet, and you fly first class on a jet passenger out of Peoria and first class service everywhere. Tip of the hat to you, Bob, and all the people that make it happen. God bless you for what you do for our veterans.
Well, I just one part of the big wheel.
Well, it is a big wheel, and the people who participate have big hearts, and God bless everybody, not only Bob Reed, but the entire group of people, including the volunteers, which it is all volunteer, which is amazing.
That is correct. No one receives a penny for anything. And believe me, we travel from here to here to go sign veterans. 2 weeks ago, I was up in Henry, Illinois. We'll go up to Streeter to sign up veterans. So we do a lot of traveling.
It is amazing what you do. Well, thank you, Bob, and keep up the good work, and God bless our veterans.
Well, thank you, Roger, and everyone for allowing us to talk a little bit about the Greater Peoria Honor Flight. This was our 37th flight.
Amazing. Well, keep up the good work, and we'll be in touch, my friend.
Thank you, my friends, and have a great day, everyone.
You too. Thanks, Bob. How neat, how neat. Congratulations, Bob Reed, and all the people with the honor flight. And speaking of great people, Peggy Hawkins of Graceland is here as well. Let me raise that microphone a little bit. Good to see you, Peggy. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning.
A little reminder, tell everybody what Graceland is all about.
So
It's not about Elvis Presley, is it?
it's a place of grace and dignity for older adults.
Yeah.
So Peoria is the 8th largest city in Illinois, and it's the only one in the top 20 that doesn't have a wellness center for older adults, and
Now,
we're
why is
changing
that? Why is that, Peggy? Why are we falling behind, and what can we do to change that?
So that's our task. That's our mountain. I think culturally we disdain aging. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to plan for it. We consider it negative when it's a privilege to get older. I mean, because many people don't get
Yeah,
that.
what's the alternative?
Exactly.
Yeah, good point, Peggy.
So we celebrate birthdays. Our goal is to help people live later years with vitality and education and live their best life, and to age it in their homes and not need to, have debilitation and have to go into nursing homes, because it's possible.
Yeah. First of all, you do have a location.
Yes.
You're at the old, I hate to call it, but the former sounds better,
There you
Great
go.
Central Insurance Building at War Drive and Sheridan Road, correct?
Yes, yep.
And what are the hours and how can people access the services? Tell us a little bit of what you do for older Americans.
Well, I wanted to come today because we've got 3 exciting things happening. So we started a third day. So now we're open Tuesday, Wednesday, and now Thursday.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and that was because we got the Impact Inspire grant, and we also just got re-granted by the Community Foundation of Central Illinois. So
Good for the foundation.
absolutely. So we're open 10 to 1, and our schedule's on Facebook. Tuesdays we do movies and bingo. Wednesday we always do exercises and have a speaker. And Thursdays we have a speaker sometimes, but people really wanted a day to just chill and play games or cards or make puzzles. So Thursdays are fun hangout day. And we also have congregate meals. So neighborhood houses serving congregate meals, which is really important now, right, with concern about SNAP benefits. So lunch is served 11 to 11:30, and we do have registration ahead of time for those, but they can
So
walk
you know
in.
how much food to prepare.
Yes,
That's important,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. So that's the
Yeah.
first exciting thing. And the second exciting thing is Graceland partnered with Age Central, which used to be the Agency on Aging. It's called Age Central now, and the Health Department. And we're doing satellite programs in the 61605 zip code because there's not a lot of programs down there. And so we're going to have our first one Monday, November 17th at the Tri-County Urban League. And it's from 1 to 4. And we're going to do line dancing with Cassandra Anderson, who's an amazing instructor. And then Medicare fraud information in a fun game kind of way. And then just a revamping so that people know what the health department offers. So that'll be fun.
Now, do you actually have a presence at the health department building on Sheridan Road? Okay.
No, but
you're
they
just working with them.
We're working with them, and
Yeah.
that's really an important step because agencies tend to just do their own thing. So we're trying to unite forces.
Yeah, to coordinate what needs to be done. What's the participation rate? How do people know what's going on, and how do they get to Graceland?
It's a good question. So actually, every day it's growing a little bit. We used to be like 9 to 10. Now we're like up to 30 to 40 people per session, up to 60 on Wednesday. So basically, we word of mouth, and then we pass out flyers to a lot of different places, different living facilities and public places, and then we do a lot on Facebook. Yeah.
It's interesting that I have a suggestion for you. I don't know whether you can do it or not. Yeah, come on in, Josh. My suggestion is that you buy some slots. And I'm being a little facetious, but
No,
it seems like slot machines do draw people, and older people, as a matter of fact. Have you thought about it? I'm kind of joking about it.
Well,
but I'm
that one
half
hasn't
serious.
gone through
Oh,
my
okay,
radar,
all
but you
right.
never know.
Well, you might be able to raise a lot of money because everybody loses at slot machines.
Then I'd have to feel guilty. They're losing their money. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how do you get the message out? Because older Americans, particularly those who live alone, have an issue about social media
Right.
and social interaction, which they badly need.
Right. It's tough. It's tough because marketing expenses it's expensive to put ads on the radio or TV. So we try to get, we contact the media and say, we're having an event. Would you like to come? So if people know people in media we're not the jazzy kind of news. So if that's the thing that we're trying to pierce. Like you said, why are we behind? Because we're not on people's radar, and we're changing that. We've had proclamations at City Council. I'm meeting with senators and congressmen because this is not a nice thing for Peoria. It's vital.
You know, I need to join your organization because one of the requirements, FCC requirements for radio and television, they have to meet certain criteria for public service announcements and programs. And you don't have to buy radio or TV. You just go to them and say, and make a request. I'd like you to run this message. I'll even help type up the message and so forth, and say we'd like you to put this on your radio station, AM or FM, and go to TV and say I'd like to be on some of your public access programs for that matter.
Thank you.
And there's no charge for it. Maybe every now and then a cookie, something like that. I'm easily bribed with carbs for that matter. How'd you get involved in this and why?
I'm an RN of 45 years and just retired in May. from OSF, and I have always felt that older adults were the source of wisdom, and that they have time to listen and care and perspective. So I did a course and realized that Peoria didn't have a center for wellness when all the other cities did, and I thought, well, I can do that. Having no idea what mountains
was that
I
about?
climbed, yeah.
Yeah, have you heard of Senior World? At one time when I worked at Methodist, we had a program, not we, it was sponsored by the Institute of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation, IPMR was the acronym, and they had Senior World, and it was located down near the School of Medicine.
It's still there.
Is it still
It's still there, and it's
Are they
part
meeting
of
the needs?
Yeah, well, so they're two different things. Senior World is now part of PACE with OSF, which is Progressive All-Inclusive Care of the Elderly. And it's to help people stay out of nursing homes who
Oh, I
really
see.
would be in a nursing home.
Okay.
So they need care, and it's a beautiful service for people that need respite. So people can bring their loved ones to there, and they'll be safe. They'll be given their medications if they need it. They'll do therapy. They do activities, but they're not able to really be on their own at
I
home
see, okay.
safely. Our programs for people that are living in, independently. People can use walkers or wheelchairs, but they have to be able to function independently, and to help them keep where they're at, if not better. I could tell you some fun stories. We have one couple whose the wife has early onset dementia, and the husband brings her. And the other day he said, they love coming. She has the best smile. And I said, how's it going? He goes, oh, it's going great, except I have a problem. I said, what's the problem? He said, well, now if I tell her I'm going to do something, she remembers that I didn't do it. So her memory is
Yeah.
improving. So,
Yeah.
we see that happen. The thing that keeps me going, that I want people to understand is, like you said, if you're, whatever age and you're home alone and maybe you do an errand or you have a few friends, it's not the same as having a group of friends, learning how to stay healthy, having a purpose, because we do a lot of community service projects too. So we give back to the community, they make friendships, they give to one another. It's a family, and it also helps people feel like they're important and part of the community.
I just thought came to me. You said Home Alone. Wouldn't that make a great title for a movie? Have you thought about that? Yeah. For someone. Oh, come on, Roger. How do people get more information? Do you have a phone number? If
Yes.
someone listening says, I'm interested, I want to get on a mailing list or
Yes.
a communication list,
Yes,
you know what's
absolutely.
going on? What's
So
the number
if
to
they
call?
do go online, they can find us at gracelandcenter.com. And I picked that name because people would remember it. Not very many people choose that name, and so it's memorable. And then also our number is 833-503-7773. And it's a computer answering machine, and I get those messages and usually call people the same day or the next day.
Great. Do you have a staff of volunteers to help you out?
We have 2 part-time program coordinators that they do get paid, and then we have a team of about 10 volunteers
Good
that
for
help
you.
us. Yeah.
Peggy Hawkes of Graceland Center. God bless you for what
Thank
you
you.
do. There is a need, and maybe someday, very soon, Josh Bradshaw has a lot of money. Maybe he will make a major donation to see that happen.
That's our goal this year,
Yeah.
financial sustainability,
Yeah.
so that this can go on forever.
Amen to that. Thanks, Peggy, for coming
Thank
up.
you for having
Good luck.
me.
Keep it up.
Thank you.
We're going to talk to Josh Bradshaw from Advanced Medical Transport. But first, at the bottom of the hour, let's bring you up to date with some of the stories we're following. And our news at the bottom of the hour brought to you by Bob Manning, Senior Vice President, Financial Advisor with the Grandview Capital Group at Morgan Stanley right here in Peoria. For investment needs, check out Bob. Bob Manning's available today at 309-671-4653. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. Here's Terry with our headlines.
Well, it's election day for some cities and states. New York City is in the national spotlight. There's a good chance an avowed socialist, Zoran Mamdani, will become the city's next mayor. Though he's never held elective office, he's won the support of many New Yorkers with promises to provide free public transportation, free child care, city-owned grocery stores, and freezes on rent. Mamdani also supports Hamas and is considered an opponent of the Jewish people. President Trump yesterday threw his support for mayor behind former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. Trump said Cuomo, a Democrat, was a far better choice than Mamdani and even Republican Curtis Sliwa. Elon Musk has also endorsed Cuomo. Voters in New Jersey will choose a new governor. Trump has endorsed Republican candidate Jack Ciattarelli, who's running against Democrat Mikey Sherrill. There's a tight race in Virginia, where voters will elect a replacement for Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin. Youngkin has endorsed his lieutenant governor, Winsome Earl Sears. Former President Barack Obama supports Abigail Spanberger. According to an NBC poll, 42% of Americans blame Democrats for the government shutdown. 25% cites the fault of Republicans. Though President Trump is not a member of Congress, the network liberals threw his name in the mix. So, 24% said it's his fault, thereby concluding 49% of those polled put the blame on Republicans. Pennsylvania Democrat Senator John Fetterman would probably take issue with the NBC report, as do Republicans. Fetterman appeared on national television and said Democrats own the government shutdown. Their demands, he said, are ill-timed and inappropriate. He said the thought that 42 million Americans are losing food stamp benefits is deeply distressing.
That's putting it mildly, isn't it?
Yes, that's an understatement. Yesterday, we announced that advanced medical transport paramedic Ron Zaveda had been recognized by the American Ambulance Association for exemplary care and compassion of a hospice patient. Zaveda was awarded the 2025 Star of Life. And Advanced Medical Transport Community Relations Director Josh Bradshaw is here with us, and he's going to tell us more about that. And those are the headlines. Roger?
And one of the things we're going to learn is whether we're pronouncing his last name right.
That's the
Not
biggest question right
Bradshaw,
now.
but Ron, at any rate. All right, let's have a check of the weather. And the weather brought to you by Mr. Weather, Kyle Varnold. Kyle is an insurance professional. He can review your portfolio of insurance coverage to make sure you're getting what you're paying for. You can get in touch with Kyle today at 309-682-0519. That number for Kyle Varnold, once again, 682-0519. Chris has the weather.
Okay, well today is Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. Today, cloudy and windy with gradual clearing becoming sunny with a high of 67 degrees. Tonight, clear and 52 for the low. Tomorrow, sunny and windy with a high of 64. Thursday, sunny and 62, showers Thursday night, low 52. Friday, sunny and 66 degrees. Currently, it is 39 degrees.
7:41 is our time, as we mentioned. Josh Bradshaw is here from Advanced Medical Transport. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, we know that the people who work at AMT do a lot of life-saving things and a variety of medical support services over the years, and not surprised that one of your employees, a paramedic. Tell us a little bit about Ron Zaveda. Are we okay on the name?
Ryan Zavada.
Zavada.
Yeah, really nice.
Zavada, okay. Well, we missed it by that much.
That's all
Yeah,
right.
tell us about Ron.
He wouldn't mind.
Okay.
Ryan's been with us for a long time and very experienced paramedic. He's a critical care paramedic, which is the highest level you can achieve. And he's worked in a lot of different areas. He's worked in Streator, and currently he's in the Peoria area doing specialty transport services.
Is he a Peoria kid?
No, he's a Streator kid.
Oh, Streator, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we won't hold that against him.
Well, so Ryan was assigned a
Ryan or Ron? We've got
Ryan.
Ron. It is Ryan. Okay.
It is Ryan.
Well,
Yep.
we doggone that. Well, we
Yeah.
missed, we're 0 for 2, as a matter of fact.
So he's being honored out in Washington, D.C. This evening, in fact, and he's meeting with congressional folks and having a great day. And one of the things that stood out about Ryan was a transport where he had a discharge that the person was a ventilator patient and had a lot of interventions that he had to maintain during the trip, and the person was going to transition care, so it was already a delicate situation, but the family had a special request, and without getting too far
Too
into
detailed, yeah.
it was one of those things that isn't in a textbook, but Ryan used his brain and thought, there's no downside to making this special request for the family, for the patient. There ended up being huge upside for them when he saw what it meant to them. He told me it was, as a critical care paramedic with decades, almost a couple decades of experience, he said he never knew that a hospital discharge would be the most emotionally charged call of his entire life.
That's
And
interesting.
That's cool.
I've got goosebumps just talking about it. And it was one of those things where it's not a transport, it's a person. It's a life. It's a very precious life. And Ryan rather, made the call that we're going to accommodate this special request. And he might have had to get off work a little late. He might have been a little bit, like I said, emotionally charged afterward, but it meant so much to that family, and they expressed that to hospital administrators too. And in the days after that, we heard from so many people about that episode that it was a standout moment for Ryan.
It's really memorable for
Yeah.
the family. Are we talking about an end-of-life process?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And like I said, it's a task, but it's a person. And something that meant a great deal to this person, we were able to make a little, not even a detour, but to pause and give that person a moment.
That's interesting because end-of-life experiences, and I've experienced that with my late wife and other members of the family, as we all have. We want that transition to be as smooth and organized as possible. And that may sound a little too artificial, but we want everything to go right.
Yeah.
And it sounded like so did Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. He, like I said, it's not in a textbook. You don't get taught these things in school. But in the moment, you use your brain and you use the compassion inside you, and you make decisions as to what you're going to do to provide the best care, the best compassion, the best dignity for this person, and that's what he did. So we heard a lot about it in the weeks after.
The Sarah Life Award is special for Ryan, but I think it also represents, you might say, the mission, the work ethic at Advanced Medical Transport. So I think it's a reflection not only on his values and principles, but AMT and you and the other people who work at Advanced Medical Transport have to take pride in what Ryan is receiving, really on behalf of AMT.
Definitely. We've got a great group of people. Our team, over and over again, shows that they're people who care. I mean, we're human beings too. Today's Honor Flight Day, and so we got a team out there. Actually, Ryan was on the last honor flight. This year in particular, we're sending our veterans with the veterans on the honor flight to provide medical care for them. It's a partnership between us and Peoria Fire and East Peoria
That's a
Fire.
nice tie-in.
Yeah,
It
so,
certainly is. Yeah, earlier we had Bob Reed on, who's been a vital part of the crew out there, and he responded to my question about medical support. has once again indicated that it's first class all the way, and AMT is a part of that as well.
We are, and we're very proud of that fact. We really care a lot about our military personnel. We have 46 in our ranks.
Really?
Yeah,
That's outstanding.
yeah. We're something that, those are people with hearts to serve.
Yeah.
And it's no surprise that they would end up at our place too.
Yeah, I know when you train initially to become a not a paramedic but an EMT, that the course includes certain medical components, but I'm going to guess that it's also the training, the experience, the learning also touches on compassion and care and sensitivity to the needs of not only the patients that you attend to in emergency or those that you take home from the hospital, about the emotional needs of the patient and the patient's family.
Definitely. There are always situations that come up that you aren't really prepared for, that you got to work your way through. We had a car accident a couple of years ago on Christmas Eve, and it was on the highway, and this family, all their Christmas presents were just exploded all over the roadway, and they got transported to the hospital, but they got out the next day, which was Christmas. And so one of our providers, who's also a veteran, who also works the honor flights, that was a big burden on him, and so we got together that morning and made that right. We made a shopping trip and revisited
really?
that family, and I tell you that not to
not to
not for any
brag
reason
about
other
it,
than-
but let
Yeah.
people know of the sensitivity of
These are the-
AMT.
These are the kind of things that come up, and they don't teach you about it in paramedic school, but you're still a real person, and you got to go home and be able to sleep at night, and sometimes you can't do that until you've kind of brought things full circle and made things right. And this was something that was weighing on him, and so he got a hold of me, and we went and did that together to just bring it full circle, like I said, and make sure that family had a Christmas. So
I don't want to take anything away from people who are accountants and bookkeepers or sound professionals or radio announcers, but people like yourself, Peggy Hawkes, who just retired after many years of service as a nurse at St. Francis, there's just something pretty special about people in the healthcare profession. For one thing, they have hearts as big as the all outdoors and a desire and willingness. I spent 25 years at Methodist Hospital and got well acquainted with people in the different areas. And there are areas of care that even some people in the medical profession can't handle. And one of those is hospice. And I don't know how the people who work in it do what they do, but they're wonderful at it.
that is very true, and we experience that as well. The professionals that do that job, we have a beautiful center on the north end of Peoria, and the folks that take care of folks, take care of other people, at the end of their life are just magnificent.
They sure are.
Level of compassion, and their caring, and their understanding, and their accommodating of people's needs.
Yeah. What did your parents do? What kind of work did your dad do or your mom do, if I don't mind me being personal? Because you are who you are in large part to who your mother and father were, who your parents were.
My father worked at Keystone. He was a steel worker, and my mother was a homemaker.
Wonderful.
So, yeah.
And they instilled the values that apparently led you to say, you know what, I think I want to get into the healthcare business.
Yeah.
Was there any striking experience that inspired you to make that choice versus driving a bus or doing a morning radio show?
Well, it is a choice. I mean, nobody makes us do this job.
Yeah.
And, so it's something that we choose. There was a pivotal moment that led me to it. I stopped at a car accident, like a lot of people would, and tried to help, and it was a bad one. And this is before I had any training at all, and I wasn't able to really do anything for anybody. And that left a mark on me. And I called Andrew. I'd known Andrew because I worked for the newspaper.
Oh,
Called
really?
Andrew and I
Yeah, I
said,
didn't know you worked in really, for the
Yeah.
Peoria Journal?
the Pekin Daily Times for 23 years.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, now I do remember that, yeah. Gee,
And-
I didn't think reporters had it hard. No, I'm just kidding.
And so I called up
Andrew Rand, yeah.
and I said, hey, I need some first aid training. Well, he enrolled me in an EMT class, and I found that really interesting. And over time, it just pulled me in.
Yeah.
And I saw the great things that they do there. I wanted to be a part of that.
You know, you are a part of administration, but you do work the streets, don't you?
I do.
Still do, don't you?
Yeah. Lately, more than usual. It's just a busy time. There's a lot of people out on the streets, and there's a great need in the community right now too. A lot of people need help.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. Is there a period of time you're saying right now? Let's take the seasons. I would think you're busier during the summer. Am I right on that? I'm just guessing because people are outside doing things they shouldn't be doing, and sometimes doing things is beyond their control. You see
Summertime.
more?
Oh yeah, summertime
Yeah.
is real busy. We also tend to ramp up during the holiday season too, because people are out, I guess, doing things. They're traveling to see family members. The cold weather aggravates some people's medical conditions too. So,
Sure.
yeah.
I understand. Who do you have more, men or women, or is it a well-balanced mix working for AMT?
I don't want to say that I'm an old guy and I've been there a long time, but when I started, it was predominantly a male
yeah.
staffed kind of job. Nowadays, it's very balanced, and we've worked hard at that too. We want every different kind of person working there that we possibly can. We want the organization to be a reflection of our community. So, yeah, now it's really balanced between men and women, and boy, we just have a lot of outstanding providers on both sides.
Yeah, one of the things that you've done over the years, because I remember when I worked at Methodist, Ace Ambulance, which was kind of the forerunner of what we have today,
Yeah.
was between the Universalist Church and the Shell service station. They had a little building, and that's where the ambulance were. Now today, it's not unusual to see an AMT vehicle at different locations parked there because of your statistical analysis of the hot spots for accidents help you determine where to locate the emergency vehicles.
Yeah, every 6 months we reevaluate that and figure out where we really need to have those vehicles to get to the emergencies as quickly as possible.
Sure.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought, Chris, of being a paramedic or an EMT?
I've always been interested in at least taking some CPR training and stuff like that. And when I was at WMED, I'm like, oh, we should probably get a class in here and get everybody, So a lot of the different workplaces I worked at.
Sure.
And it's hard to get the ball rolling on some of that stuff, but that's always just at least basic medical training is always something I was interested in and trying to get the ball rolling on.
For sure.
Are you all still in need of applicants? And if so, if someone is listening, how do they go about learning more about becoming a EMT and eventually a paramedic?
Yeah, we can always use good people because a lot of our folks, they'll move up. They'll start out as an emergency medical technician, then they'll become a paramedic, then a critical care paramedic, and they might enter administration or they might do another facet of the job with us. So we can always use people coming in that are eager and ready to go and want to learn the job. And we actually have a Earn While You Learn program to help them out.
That's a pretty good deal.
And so you can go to amtci.org and click on careers and learn about that. You can call us at 494-6200. You can walk in the door. You can email us. You can send smoke signals, whatever you'd like to do.
Mm-hmm.
and we'll help you through that process.
Let's see, is the address 1714 or 1417 North Sterling?
1718 North
Ooh,
Sterling.
I was
So
close.
we're your neighbor.
Yeah. Yes, you
We're
are
pretty
just
close.
down the road. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Josh Bradshaw of Advanced Medical Transport, thanks for coming in and telling us about Ryan Zavada.
Yes, sir. You
Nice
got
going,
it.
Roger.
Thank
Let's
you.
hear it. And the Star of Life Award. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming
Thank
in.
you.
Keep up the good work. God bless
We
the folks at
appreciate
AMT. Well, boys and girls, that wraps up our number 2 of Breakfast with Roger and Friends on WAZU FM 90.7. We're also on YouTube now. That's always an honor. Coming up in the next hour, we're going to talk to the mayor of Beacon, Illinois, Mary Burris, and also Rick Swan of East Peoria. He's the executive director of the East Peoria Chamber of Commerce. We have, what do we have, 39 degrees? Is that what you have?
That was the last check. Let me double check one last time here.
One last time. Well,
Looks like we are at 38 degrees right now.
no,
We
it's
dropped one.
Jumping around once again. Somebody needs to breathe on the thermometer. News, weather, sports next. Thanks for being a part of our program this morning, everybody. And a pleasant good morning, everybody. And what a beautiful morning it is. It is Tuesday, the 4th day of November, and we start with a check of the weather brought to you by who else? Very timely, Advanced Medical Transport, providing outstanding emergency care. They've been around helping people now since 1991. AMT covering 65 communities with 54,911 calls a year and another 15,000 scheduled medical service calls. Saving lives is what they do. Advanced Medical Transport. It was always interesting whenever Josh Bradshaw joins us. In the meantime, let's have a check of the weather with Chris Buckley.
Okay, well, today is Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. Today, cloudy and windy with gradual clearing, becoming sunny with a high of 67 degrees. Tonight, clear and 52 for the low. Tomorrow, sunny and windy, high of 64. Thursday, sunny and 62. Showers Thursday night, low of 52. Friday, sunny and 66 degrees. And currently, it looks like it is 40 degrees outside.
Oh, we're up to 40. Nice going. We're having a heat wave. We're one. Anyway, let's get into the news brought to you by Realtor Kathy Reynolds of Brilliant Real Estate. You know, hard work produces results, and that's what Realtor Kathy Reynolds is. She works hard and very successful because she works hard, seeking to sell and or buy a home. Check out Kathy. She's available today at 309-696-2162. That number again for Kathy, 696-2162. Now the news.
This is election day for some cities and states. New York City is in the national spotlight as it appears there's a good chance an avowed socialist, Zoran Mamdani, will become the city's next mayor. Though he's never held elective office, he's won the support of many New Yorkers with promises to provide free public transportation, free child care, city-owned grocery stores, and freezes on rent. Mamdani also supports Hamas and is considered an opponent of the Jewish people.
President Trump yesterday threw his support for mayor behind former New York governor and Democrat Andrew Cuomo. Trump said Cuomo was a far better choice than Mondami and even the Republican Curtis Slowell. Slowell has about as good a chance as snow falling in St. Louis in August.
Elsewhere, voters in New Jersey will choose a new governor. Trump has endorsed Republican candidate Jack Ciattarelli, who's running against Democrat Mikey Sherrill. There's a tight race in Virginia, where voters will elect a replacement for Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin. Youngkin has endorsed his Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears. National media is supporting Democrat Abigail Spanberger. So is former President Barack Obama.
And there are other races, Democrats hoping to see success so they can say Republican losses will be a rejection of the policies of President Donald Trump. And they're still trying to answer the question, who's to blame for the current government shutdown? And what do the polls say? At least one of them, Terry.
Well, according to an NBC poll, 42% of Americans blame Democrats. 25% say it's the fault of Republicans. Now, though President Trump is not a member of Congress, the network liberals threw his name in the mix. So, 24% said it's his fault, thereby concluding 49% of those polled put the blame on Republicans. That, folks, is how the media manipulates the news and their surveys.
You know what? If they were going to do that by putting Trump on the ballot, they should have put Chuck Schumer on the ballot. That would have been a fairer balance of what they were trying to do, but that would have been, I misused the word fair.
Yeah, fair. There you go.
Yeah. Pennsylvania Democrat Senator John Fetterman probably would take issue with that NBC survey, as do Republicans. Fetterman appeared on national television. He said Democrats own the government shutdown. Shame on him for saying that. He said their demands are ill-timed and inappropriate. He said the thought that 42 million Americans are losing food stamp benefits is deeply distressing, as it is for all of us, not just the 42 million Americans.
In local news, that former ISU grad student, or grad assistant, Derek Lopez, will remain behind bars for allegedly making threats to shoot and kill President Donald Trump. Federal Judge Ron Hanna determined Lopez was a threat to the community. The El Paso resident had been warned by FBI agents his posts on social media were not protected by the Constitution, but he apparently ignored the warnings. He's also accused of making threats against another government official.
Yesterday, we announced that advanced medical transport paramedic Ryan Zavada had been recognized by the American Ambulance Association for exemplary care and compassion on behalf of a hospice patient. Zavada was awarded the 2025 Star of Life. Advanced Medical Transport Community Relations Director Josh Bradshaw was just with us a few minutes ago and covered that award and talked about Ryan as well as the many other men and women who serve with such a wonderful compassion and care and concern on behalf of course, Advanced Medical Transport. Thanks, Josh.
There was a brazen armed robbery of a man on the city's East Bluff over the weekend. The 25-year-old victim says two men approached him in his own backyard Saturday evening, robbed and pistol-whipped him, and then took keys to his vehicle before leaving. Police were given a good description of the bad guys. The incident took place in the area of Indiana and Archer Avenues.
And we're happy to report that the honor flight, the last one of the year, has taken off. And as we speak, on the way to Washington, D.C., from one veteran to another veteran, we talked to Air Force's own, now retired Bob Reed earlier this morning, and he gave us an update on what is happening today with 71 people on the plane that is on its way to Washington, D.C. to see all the memorials, and then we'll return later this evening. Thanks, Bob Reed.
A fire yesterday afternoon at an apartment complex for low-income individuals and families in the 200 block of North Madison caused about $80,000 damage. Fire investigators say the fire was started by a female resident who was arrested. 4 people were affected by the fire and had to be moved. And Dick Cheney, former vice president, has died at the age of 84. And that's it for news, Roger.
Right, we have news from WCBU. You know, losing a pet affects just about everyone. The caring people at Peoria Pet Crematory, they know that. That's why they're available 24/7 to help you through the grieving process. They offer several choices for care and remembrance. Peoria Pet Crematory, their phone number is 309-713-1898. Now more news from WCBU.
From the WCBU newsroom, I'm June Delahunty. Peoria Public Schools officials say this year's Illinois report card shows District 150 making significant improvements in several key areas and at almost every school. Superintendent Sharon Karat notes all but one of the district's 23 schools were rated in the top 3 designations for meeting student needs.
English, ELA, mathematics proficiency went up, attendance went up, teacher retention went up, teacher diversity went up, and so the majority of our indicators, we went up.
The designations take into account factors like academic performance, graduation rates, and student growth. Drivers in the Tri-County area are paying a little bit less for gas than a week ago as November begins, and around 15 cents below the cost at the start of October. The fuel cost tracking website Gas Buddy shows the average price per gallon at $3.14 in the Peoria Pekin market. That's down more than 2 cents from last week and 12 cents from a year ago. Gas Buddy lead analyst Patrick DeHaan says the price drop may not last long, pointing to ongoing refinery challenges in the Great Lakes region. Logan County officials say scammers are stealing personal information by claiming residents have missed jury duty. Several people in Logan County have reported phone calls and text messages threatening arrest warrants for missing jury duty. Such communications use Logan County officials' names to coerce recipients into giving out personal information, including credit card numbers. Law enforcement and court officials say they will never threaten to arrest a person who fails to appear for jury duty. A bid to crack down on steep homeowner insurance price hikes went down in flames in the Illinois House. Under the bill opposed by the insurance industry, companies would have to notify customers within 60 days of premium increases of at least 10%. Proponents say this would have given people time to shop around, but Republican State Representative Jeff Kiker was opposed.
That would interfere with the free market and damage the rates that the consumers pay and make them artificially high because of the regulation.
State Farm earlier this year raised homeowner premiums by an average of 27%, which Governor J.B. Pritzker condemned. I'm June Delahunty, WCBU News.
All right, let's get into the world of sports. Chris Buckley has the latest. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning. We begin our sports report this morning with the results of the Bradley basketball game yesterday morning in Rock Hill, South Carolina, against St. Bonaventure. The Braves lost 69-63. They trailed 34-26 at halftime and actually outscored the Bonnies in the second half, 37-35, but it wasn't enough. Bradley was down by 13 points, but rallied to take 6-point lead before falling behind. The Braves were tied with a little over a minute left in the game. They had a chance, had a chance to tie, but an errant pass went out of bounds in the final seconds. The Braves play this Saturday at the Peoria Civic Center Arena against Central Michigan. Game time is at 7 p.m. The Monday Night Football game was in Dallas, where former President George H. Bush and former First Lady Laura Bush were on hand to cheer on the Cowboys against the Arizona Cardinals. It did not help Dallas. They were behind at halftime, 17-7, and the final score was Arizona 27, Dallas 17. And that's sports on this Tuesday morning.
Well, thank you very kindly. And that was kind of a boring game. I only got a glimpse or two of it, and I don't think there was a lot of interest. Although I always wonder whether St. Louis Cardinal fans root for the Arizona Cardinals football team. That makes sense, doesn't it? Isn't that why most Cub fans root for the Bears? You know, Cubs. Cubs are little bears, are they not?
Well, it is also the same city, at least.
Yeah, well, you're right about that,
Yeah, the Cardinals deserted St. Louis. So,
yes, they did.
Yeah.
So,
I don't follow them anymore.
on them.
Yeah, and the Bears actually used to play at Wrigley Field.
Years
before,
ago.
Yeah, before Soldier Field, they played at Wrigley.
All right, for Smarty Pants, what was the original first name of the Bears?
I have no idea.
Staley something or other?
Very good, Terry. The Staley Bears from Decatur, Illinois. Remember, you heard it first on Breakfast with Roger and Friends. Speaking of first, I'll tell you what. I live now in Morton, native Peorian. one of my first radio jobs was at WSIV in Pekin. So I left my heart in Pekin, I think. That would be a nice song. Wonder if Tony Bennett could sing it for us. Anyway, we have the mayor of Pekin on the line, Mary Burris. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Roger and friends. How are you all?
Okay. Do you you're young, so you probably can't answer this question, but do you remember where WSIV was located, the radio station in Pekin?
You know, I don't, but I believe I've heard, was it not in the Times building, the old Times building on
You know what? Street? Very good. You get 5 points. You don't get 10, but they did move there, but originally it was in the basement of the arcade building, and that's...
Oh, my God.
Yes, and the arcade building, you got mad and you demolished that building, didn't you?
Well, the county did.
Oh, okay,
Not
all
the
right.
city.
All right, good. Well, let's blame it on the county, Tazewell County officials. And the owner of the WSIV were two gentlemen. One was Ken Patterson, nice guy. The other was George Udry. I believe he has a grandson or a member of the family that is the owner of Udry Jewelers on Court Street.
Yes, yeah, a beautiful jewelry store.
Yes, it is. Anyway, Court Street is beautiful. Boy, have you folks done a good job on your main thoroughfare, Court Street. I mean, it's smooth as silk.
Oh, thank you. I'm telling you what, that was a long time coming, and you know, it's going to be done in 4 phases. We're on the 3rd phase right now, and that we're hoping for it to all be finished late next year. But we did it right, you know, from sewer lines up, not just resurfacing, new curbing, new ADA sidewalks. It's beautiful.
And I think that is part of the infrastructure for the shopping center that has sprung new life. You've got some great anchor stores like Hobby Lobby, which is one of my favorite stores, but now you have Marshall's and you have Five Below, and one of my favorite stores, Ross. And I understand Pekin and the Pekin area shoppers have really responded warmly to these new retail stores.
Roger, I can't agree more with you. The traffic is just, every time I go out there, the parking lot is full.
Yes.
And people are stopping. And, Mayor, thank you for this. We needed it so bad. We desperately needed something. And it has, I don't know if you've drove out there or not, but it's clean, it's fresh, it's beautiful. And it started with the infrastructure getting done first. And then Cullinan Properties came in and started, you know, just working diligently last year to get it done. And then you go around and just cross Veterans, our Walmart. They put in close to $4 million to rebranding their Walmart. It's beautiful. It is simply beautiful out that way, and it was much, much needed. And like I said, I've spoke to Cullinan Properties, and they're like, your counts are just off the chart. They're so pleased.
Yeah, I've been there multiple times, and as I say, the parking lot, and as you indicated, in front of those stores, particularly on opening day, but follow up, people are still coming and going, and all 3 of those stores nationally are well publicized and well attended by shoppers looking for bargains. Ross, as I say, is one of my favorite stores. You get some pretty good deals there.
You sure can. We've got 2 more stores that will definitely be coming next year out there. So they've already got those 2 contracts going, but I'm not at liberty to say what stores.
Well, go ahead. You can go ahead and tell our listeners. We won't tell them.
You won't tell a soul, right?
No, we won't tell a soul. That's okay, Mary.
Oh, but Pekin is on the move. That's what I keep telling everybody. It is on the move. It's finally getting back on the map, and I could not be more proud of our city and just how positive it's becoming. Not without some work. I tell you, it's taken every citizen here, but it is getting there. I love it.
Yeah. Mary, what is the primary inspiration, motivation? It seemed like you became mayor and suddenly people started being optimistic about the city of Pekin?
You know, I'm going to say, this is just my own personal opinion, but I think it truly started with getting a full-time city manager that he dug his heels in just like I did, and we were going to get some stuff done. We were going to try our best to bring in revenue the right way, and that is new businesses in our town. And we hired a young gentleman to be our economic development director, and he has, right along with our manager, hit the ground running. I mean, we're you know that we bought Ludigan land. We're under contract with a data center to sell 321 acres. That is going to be huge. You know, that alone will bring in around $20 million just in property taxes. So it's bringing revenue in the right way and, you know, not being afraid to take that leap. We really did. It was a big challenge. It was we've got to dig our heels in, and we've got to bring revenue in the right way. And like I said, I can't even tell you all the small little places that are opening now. It's wonderful. Motel 6. I don't know if you all know where Motel 6 is, but it is dilapidated. It looks horrible. It's right there next to the Pekin Insurance headquarters, and it's finally bought out by someone else. They're coming in. They're going to put $10 million into revamping it to another very well-known hotel chain that I'm not at liberty to say.
Okay, all right.
Pekin's on the move. Pekin is on the move.
You know, that's interesting because as you described it, I don't remember it as Motel 6. It had a different name, and I know who the owner was, and I won't mention his name because he used to own the Dome. That
yes.
Am I on the right track?
You are, and he still does own the Dome,
Okay.
but not that place.
Yeah. Oh, he did. I thought he owned that. Okay. But at any rate, that fell on hard times for whatever reason. I don't know. I do think, does he also have interest in another motel? Well, we don't know. Don't know that
Yeah,
for sure.
he might, but I'm not positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
We are talking, that's, you know, people think that we own the Dome and that we let it fall down and not put it back up. The city does not,
No.
you know, so, but the gentleman that owns it is being talked to sell it. So we'll see where that goes. I really pray that gets revitalized.
Yeah, well, that area is pretty neat too because it's somewhat of a sports complex. I know there are ball diamonds in the area and so forth. As you know, that does attract interest and does have can be a source of economic benefit to the community. But that's another topic for another time. Anything else? I wanted to mention about your riverfront that has really sparked interest in a lot of people as well. Any plans for any additional activity there?
Well, we did, not right at the moment, other than I am working with Illinois River City and Town Initiative Group, the mayors of river cities, and we're working very hard to see if we can be chosen, Pekin, for a port authority. So if that happens, that will be another huge step for us. Right now, you know, they're looking at different cities, but this is the company that helped bring in the port at Hennepin. You know, that was a $38 million project for Hennepin. So this would be another huge step for the city of Pekin, and then there, I think it would help us clean up our riverfront even more. You know, we've cleaned up quite a bit down there.
Oh, it's a big change.
Oh, huge.
Yeah.
Much needed.
Yeah.
Much needed.
Very positive. Now, is Amazon a part of Pekin?
It is not.
Okay.
Amazon is in North Pekin, and the theater, you know, people were saying how theater closed. That's in North Pekin as well.
Yeah. I know that. What is the boundary? I'm trying to think of the route that runs on the north edge of Pekin. Is it the boundary line where Casey's is and some of the car dealers. You know what street I'm trying to remember?
Yeah, we have Casey's there, but it goes up a little further. We have a little bit of land on 98. Doesn't go all through. The car dealers are not Pekins, and a little of 98, not a lot.
Okay. All right. Well, anything else you want to add?
No, I just want to say, Roger, thank you so much for having me on your show. It's much needed. We need to keep being positive on Pekin, and
Amen.
it is showing, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Mary. It's easy for me. As I say, one of my earlier radio jobs was at WSIV in Pekin. I wish they would bring that 1140 on the AM dial back to Pekin. It is licensed, I believe, through Pekin, but I think it's located in Peoria. I'll talk to you about that a little later on, if you don't mind. You bet. All right, thanks, Mary. Have a great day. God bless you.
God bless you, too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Mary Burris, the mayor of Pekin, Illinois, and we're going to talk about East Peoria coming up. But first, we pause for this important message on Breakfast with Roger and Friends.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him going on to fascinate millions with his talent? 1 in 260,000. The odds of this born racer having 157 career top 10 finishes in NASCAR? 1 in 125 billion. But every driver seeks the pinnacle of their achievements. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year? 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I'm NASCAR driver Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
All right, weather-wise, hey, let's go into the news early if you don't mind, because we've got a couple of people we want to talk to. So stand by, and we'll start with the news with Terry Chamberlain. More people are turning to home health care for loved ones. It's a trend and a good trend, and more people, and it's a good trend, are choosing Spoon River Home Health. Their staff, professional and personal, have been for over 30 years. Spoon River Home Health. You can learn more details about what's available with Spoon River at 309-245-0723. Let me repeat the number, 309-245-0723. Terry, you have the news.
Well, it's election day for some cities and states. New York City is in the national spotlight. There's a good chance an avowed socialist, Zoran Mamdani, will become the city's next mayor. Though he's never held elective office, he's won the support of many New Yorkers with promises to provide free public transportation, free child care, city-owned grocery stores, and freezes on rent. Mamdani also supports Hamas and is considered an opponent of the Jewish people. President Trump yesterday threw his support for mayor behind former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. Trump said Cuomo, a Democrat, was still a far better choice than Mamdani and Republican Curtis Lewa. Elon Musk has also endorsed Cuomo. Voters in New Jersey will choose a new governor. Trump has endorsed Republican candidate Jack Ciattarelli, who's running against Democrat Mikey Sherrill. There's a tight race in Virginia, where voters will elect a replacement for Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin. Youngkin has endorsed his lieutenant governor, Winsome Earl Sears. Former President Barack Obama supports Abigail Spanberger. And there's an NBC poll checking to see who is to blame for the government shutdown. Well, 42% of Americans blame Democrats. 25% say it's the fault of Republicans. Though President Trump is not a member of Congress, the network liberals threw his name in the mix. So 24% said it's his fault, thereby concluding 49% of those polled put the blame on Republicans. Now, Pennsylvania Democrat Senator John Fetterman would probably take issue with the NBC report, as do Republicans. Fetterman appeared on national television and said Democrats own the government shutdown. Their demands, he said, are ill-timed and inappropriate. He said the thought that 42 million Americans are losing food stamp benefits is deeply distressing. Yesterday, we announced that advanced medical transport paramedic Ryan Zavada had been recognized by the American Ambulance Association for exemplary care and compassion of a hospice patient. Zavada was awarded the 2025 Star of Life. AMT Community Relations Director Josh Bradshaw was with us earlier this morning to tell us a little more about Ryan and what an honor it is to get this reward, which he's out in Washington, D.C. right now and will be getting it tonight.
Yeah, that's terrific.
And that's the headlines for this hour, Roger.
All right, let's find out about the weather. And the weather this morning is brought to you by our friends at Peoria Pet Crematory. You know, losing a pet is a terrible time in the lives of families and individuals for that matter. And the caring people at Peoria Pet, they know that. And that's why they're available 24/7 to help you through the grieving process. And what they do is they offer several choices for care and remembrance. Might be a good idea if you have a pet to jot down their phone number. You never know when you might need them. And they're available, as we say, 24/7, 309-713-1898. And now the weather with Chris Buckley. Chris?
Well, today it's Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. Today, cloudy and windy with gradual clearing, becoming sunny with a high of 67 degrees. Tonight, clear and 52 for the low. Tomorrow, sunny and windy with a high of 64. Thursday, sunny and 62. Showers Thursday night, low of 52. Friday, sunny and 66 degrees. Currently, it is 44 degrees.
And it's beautiful weather for this time of the year. And it's a good time to check in with our good friend Rick Swan of the East Peoria Chamber of Commerce to find out what's going on over in East Peoria. Good morning, Rick.
Hey, how's everybody today?
Oh, wonderful. We love it. I just had a slice
There we
of
go.
pumpkin donut, and you can't beat that. You know, I had a strong and wonderful, warm connection to your family at that wonderful coffee shop on Springfield and Washington, is it?
Yeah, it was Eisel's.
Yes.
Yeah, Eisel's Coffee.
One of my favorite coffee shops forever, and unfortunately it's not there anymore. Neat people who ran that.
Yeah, Fred moved back from Florida. He's around, but
Well, tell him Roger said, who always bought decaf coffee. I said,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
As did my mother-in-law. That was her.
That's
So,
exactly right, and it was wonderful. They were neat people, very popular for that matter. Speaking of popular, you're already getting geared up. It's the month of November for the wonderful parade, Festival of Lights. What's going on? Where are we?
is that this month? Slipped by me.
Yeah, you thought it was still Halloween.
Yeah. I still have my mask on. So,
Well, that's from COVID-19. You've never taken it off.
Yeah, that's why I'm talking on the radio, not TV. As Royce used to say. But we're getting full speed ahead. We're going to be lighting the wreath up on Fond du Lac Drive. That's the 17th, Monday the 17th. That'll be on WEK TV. We'll do that live.
Oh, really?
As always.
That's new. Oh, have you always done that with WEK?
I can't remember how far back, Roger. It's probably at least the last 5, 6, 8 years, something like that.
Okay.
And
is there an official ceremony that you do?
Yeah, we actually, Chuck Collins has always been the guy that came down, and we stand down by Haggerty Steel down on Caterpillar Trail for 116, and then we have someone up at the wreath, and we coordinate it, and the Queen actually pushes her wand toward the wreath, and it automatically lights.
That
So,
is neat. So
it's a
that's the
ceremony.
17th. What time of the day and night you're going to do that?
They'll come on live at 5,
Okay.
and then Felipe, he'll be interviewed in it. Corey Brown, who's the chairman of the committee or the festival, will interview, and I think I might have a spot on it too. So it's we cover it from the 5 to 6:30 newscast time frame for them.
Great.
Somebody on each half hour.
Well, let's talk about what else is going on in East Peoria.
Okay, well, real quick, the parade, the 28th, or I'm sorry, the 22nd, 6:30. It's pushed back to 6:30 because of TV, and it will be televised live on WMBD TV. So if it's inclement weather and you don't want to get out, it'll be on TV this year also. So this is the second year for that. And then the Winter Wonderland, the drive-through, opens up Friday, November 28th, and runs through January 4th. So a few things going on, you know. That,
Yeah, I guess
we'll be
so.
able to
Are you going to have
entertain people.
a separate group do the usual nativity scene?
Yes, the Knights of Columbus, they do that, and that'll be down at the bottom of Springfield Road, down Springfield Road and Taylor, down by the Ball Diamonds. Well, what used to be the Little League Diamonds there by the post office. So that will be started up when the Winter Wonderland opens. So we'll have that, and just a lot of different things going on in the community. And well, actually, both sides of the river. I'll give a shout out to Riverfront Museum, John Morris and Bill Conger and the folks over there. They light the big tree. That's going to be lit on November 12th at 6:30. The giant Christmas tree.
Yeah, that's a
And then
big
they
event.
have, and then they have Christmas in the Village, which will start on Friday the 5th, December 5th, 4 to 8, and then Saturday, December 6th, noon to 8. So big happenings there. Of course, the Santa Claus Parade, in downtown Peoria, the oldest one in the nation, I believe.
Yeah, you
And
bet.
so it's a lot of things, and, check us out. Call us here at the office or website, city's website, and get all the details of what we have going on.
What's the update on the apartment buildings that are going up
Yeah,
in East Peoria?
219 rooms, and they just moved another 30 units, or opened up another 30 units, and people filled those. What they're doing is, as they complete the project, they're moving people in. So there's actually people living there now.
Didn't know
I think
that.
they're somewhere between, I think, a third and a half full now. And as I said, as they complete the sections, they're moving people in. So very, very nice apartments, well built. The amenities are great. You got a pool, you got a dog park, a washing station for the dogs, indoor parking. They'll have an area, just a setting area there. Restaurant, there'll be 2 restaurants in there. Some other things, I believe, a coffee shop for the residents, so they can have that, and a lot of things. So, yeah, going well.
East Peoria is on the grow. One final question. What's the total number of rooms available with all the hotels, motels in East Peoria? Do you have any idea?
Oh.
No, you
It'll
don't.
be 13. I don't.
Okay.
I could guess.
Oh, no. I just know that your side of the river has a huge number of motels and hotels, motels, rooms. And a lot of people who have events going on in central Illinois take advantage of the wide choices that are available in East Peoria.
Yeah, we're adding the new Hampton down beside Embassy Suites. That's 100 rooms.
Wow.
That will have. And then the Hampton that's out by the Paradise, that's going to be rebranded. So it's not closing. It's going to be open. So that'll bring us up to 13 hotels.
That is amazing.
And,
That's absolutely
yeah.
amazing. Well,
East side,
congratulations.
we just turfed 2 more fields there, so we'll be able to play, not year-round, but pretty darn close. So state-of-the-art facility there. And then I know you asked me about the police station. 37,848 square feet.
That's a big facility. What do you have? A lot of bad guys over there? What's going on with you, Rick?
No, it's going to deter the bad guys.
Oh, okay. All right.
We're gonna, they know our guys mean business.
Yeah.
And
They certainly do.
we are very fortunate. We're fully staffed. They work 12-hour shifts, and they have zones that they patrol and watch out for things. And the mayor, as you well know, John said it, public safety is one of the priorities and of the community.
Yeah.
And you have to have safety. And so our police department does a fantastic job, as does the fire department on their side of it.
Yeah.
So, but it's a big building. Then Goodwill's building, which is just a couple lots down from the police station, should be open coming up in 2026, as will the police station. And so a lot of good things moving.
Sounds
and then we've
that
got
way.
the Center Street project, which will start next year, 26.
Lots of things going on in East Peoria. As always, Rick Swan, thanks for giving us an update. Don't be a stranger. We'll check with you again.
All right, I appreciate it.
You bet.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. You bet.
Have a good
Thanks.
day.
You too.
All right.
Rick Swan, Executive Director of the East Peoria Chamber of Commerce. Hey, you talked about holidays. We're going to find out about an annual event that is one of my favorites, and I rarely miss it. And that's coming up next after this message. Stay tuned.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Scammers exploit chances to commit fraud, like predatory law firms and non-accredited representatives targeting veterans and their survivors by offering to get you VA benefits. Beware of emails, phone calls, TV commercials, and social media trying to access VA benefits or submit claims for you. Apply to VA online or in person at VA regional offices. Only use VA-accredited representatives. Beware of companies claiming to contact you on behalf of VA or guaranteeing lots of money. Don't sign a blank form or contract to pay a percentage of benefits for help filing a claim. Report suspected fraud at va.gov/OIG/hotline. Learn about General Counsel accreditation at va.gov.
A good event, good message for that matter. And speaking of good, as I indicated, we're nearing the holidays, and one of the my favorite places to go was the annual gift show put on by the Service League of Methodist Hospital. I just love the event, and they have one coming up this year as well. And Tammy Speck with the Service League of Methodist is on the line. Good morning, Tammy.
Good morning, Roger. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
You bet, you bet. Tell us about this year's gift show. What are the dates and where?
Sure. So it is next week, Wednesday, November 12th, and Thursday, November 13th, from 10 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And it is in the main Methodist Hospital in the first floor conference room. And free valet parking is also available if it's a difficulty to get in from the parking deck.
Yeah. And describe some of the items that are for sale. Some are handmade items and just a plethora of things from which to choose.
Yes, we have merchandise that you're not going to find anywhere else. We have a wonderful group of volunteers that make some handmade items. Some examples are they make wool mittens. They also make the wool dryer balls. One of my favorites is they have kind of like a pot holder that you use for your bowls in the microwave. In addition to our handmade items, we have a flower department that has centerpieces and wreaths for the holidays. We've got toys for all ages. We've got holiday decor and gifts. We've got jewelry and handbags. We've got baby clothes. We have it all.
Yeah, I guess you do. And in many cases, some of the people who put these together on behalf of the Service League Gift Show start early every year working and getting prepared for the next Christmas. And they are one of a kind, are they not?
They are one-of-a-kind items, you bet. And in addition...
Go ahead. In addition...
Yes, in addition to the merchandise that we're selling, we are also selling raffle tickets for $1 a piece, and we will be drawing 3 separate winners that will each win $500.
Ooh, that sounds good. Baked items?
No baked items this year.
Oh, boo, boo. Somebody used to make cinnamon rolls. Could you give me her name and phone number?
Right.
Yeah. Well, this is a big project, and the money you raise, which is very, very important, in the past has gone. I know the mobile van that did mammograms was one of the pet projects, and going years before that, contributions from the Service League Gift Show and other things that they do. Also went to the oncology, the radiation oncology building. Anything specific this year that the Service League has chosen to support?
Yes, we are supporting our brand new Young Minds facility, which is our behavioral health facility up in the old Headington Oaks area. It is a phenomenal facility. It got the kiddos out of the hospital and in a much better environment, and we are just thrilled to support that.
You know, I'm glad to hear that, because that's kind of one of those hidden assets in the community that not a lot has been spoken about. So I need to get a hold of someone at Carl, I keep wanting to call it Methodist, but Carl Hospital, to get information and update on what's going on. Give us a little bit of an idea about the Service League. Tell everybody about the membership and the things that it has historically done for many, many years on behalf of the hospital, patients, and families as well.
Sure. So the Methodist Service League is actually over 70 years old. It was started in the 1950s, and it began with a group of doctors' wives who decided that the hospital needed a gift shop, and they wanted to contribute to the community. So since then, the Service League has been strong. It is a group of volunteers. They single-handedly run the day-to-day operations and manage the gift shop in the hospital all year round, and then, of course, also do our holiday gift show. But they do everything from ordering what they sell in the gift shop to the bookkeeping. And by the way, we're always looking for new volunteers to help out in our gift shop if anybody listening would like to add on to that. But as you mentioned, over the years, the Service League donates all of the contributions from their gift shop to what used to be called the Methodist Foundation, and we now call it the Center for Philanthropy. So all of the proceeds get donated to the Center for Philanthropy, and then each year the Service League works with the philanthropy folks to see what is the greatest need for Methodist Hospital or the community, and we pick something to donate the funds to.
Let me say that I've had a strong connection to the Service League and to the gift shop. You cannot find a better source for shopping for baby clothes. The gift shop has for many years had the most fantastic and price-wise selection of clothes for babies. And I assume that's still the case. Am I right?
You are right. They have the most adorable baby things in there. I don't have anybody to buy for in that category, but I love just looking because it's just adorable, unique outfits.
And if you want to buy a floral arrangement for a patient, maybe a mother of a new baby or someone who needs cheering up, your floral arrangements are also a number one.
Yes. So for our gift show, we have the silk and artificial arrangements for the holidays. Yes, our Service League also has a flower shop. They can custom make a bouquet for you, or they have a beautiful display case in the shop that has pre-arranged flower arrangements. You can order those over the phone or stop in and pick one up for a patient here at the hospital.
All right, one last plug. When is the event? Where is the event? And how do we get to the Morin Room, which is one of my favorite places when I worked at Methodist, will be the site of this year's gift show?
Sure. So the gift show is at the main hospital, which is 221 Northeast Glen Oak. So you'll come to the corner of Glen Oak and Hamilton, and you can park in the parking deck, or you can pull up to the front door and use our free valet parking. The show is next week, Wednesday and Thursday, November 12th and 13th, from 10 o'clock in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. And when you enter the hospital, you're going to go straight down the main hallway. You'll go past the gift shop, and the end of the hall is the conference room where the gift show will be held.
Oh, it's going to be a wonderful gift show, as it is each and every year, and we urge people to attend it. Tammy Speck, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope there's a big turnout because it is a fantastic gift show. Thanks for being a part of our program this morning, Tammy.
Roger.
You bet. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. We want to try to get in the mood a little bit. What's the temperature, Chris?
Let me check the current temperature.
Yeah. Is it snowing yet?
Oh, I hope not. We are at 46 degrees.
Oh, I can't wait to put up the tree. I'm going to wait until it gets 32 again.
I might end up driving up to Chicago and get my tree and everything, because I want to use all my holiday decorations are at my dad's house, but I want to use them for the photos.
So you have a tree waiting for you in Chicago?
When I moved, they took a lot of the stuff that I didn't need at that moment up there to store for me, so it was less to deal with.
How'd you celebrate Christmas without snow? You're a Midwestern kid when you were out in California. There's no snow on Christmas in California.
No, there was not.
So.
And there was actually one year where my friend Jerry and I were like, hey, let's go drive around some of these rich neighborhoods and see Christmas lights and blah, 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 and try to get in the mood. And we drove around all day and found nothing.
Oh, you're kidding.
Right.
Bah humbug. No wonder all the people out in California.
Well, I think what we weren't planning on, it wasn't really, I think we realized this later on, but a lot of the neighborhoods we were going to were heavily Jewish neighborhoods, and we weren't thinking that they're not going to have Christmas lights.
That just might be an indication why you didn't see Santa.
That definitely was something that we weren't thinking about, and then we're like, oh, wait. Maybe that's why we're not finding anything.
Okay. Well, how about a Christmas pet tip of the day?
Today's pet tip is brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Pet lovers are dedicated to their animals, all species from horses to turtles and of course cats and dogs. If you are a pet lover, learn these little-known, somewhat amazing facts about your pet. Caring for our pets is just like caring for children. We need to remember their treatments and appointments and keep them current. Sometimes, with all that's going on in our lives, this can be difficult. I suggest you use a family calendar that you write your pet's needs right along with your family's appointments. If you use the calendar on your smartphone, tablet, or other electronic device, just key in the things you need to remember and have it beep you when a task is due. It's easy to remember to feed, water, and walk a pet, but when was the last time you bathed your dog, clipped their nails, or gave them their monthly flea treatment? Today's flea treatments are designed to work in such a way that we need only apply the treatment once a month. But it has to be done regularly and consistently to be effective. Monthly also makes it easy to forget. Bathing, depending on the breed, should be done once a month as well. Nails should be clipped every 2 weeks, and dental cleaning should be done yearly, the same as vaccinations. If we know we have something coming due, it's easier to fit it into our schedules rather than scrambling at the last minute to update vaccinations or paying more to bring an animal current on their treatments. Dental cleanings is one of those treatments that, if missed, can cause you more expense. Plaque left untreated causes heart disease. So make use of whatever device you have and add your pet's needs to your calendar. This whisker of information has been made possible by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting in partnership with Spot, Saving Pets One at a Time, and KSBR Studios. Produced by Joseph C. McGuire and theme music by Stuardo Glasser.
Today's Pet Tip has been brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Well, there is your pet tip of the day from Louis Linder. What are we up to, Chris Buckley? I think, did you say 46? Was that last check of temperature? We don't have a window in our studio,
It looks like it is 46 degrees currently.
46
I can tell you it's sunny.
It is sunny.
It is.
Okay, well, take out the cloudy with gradual clearing because apparently it is cleared.
Do you have this day in history you'd like to ask us?
Oh, yes, that would be a good way to end the show. Yes, on this day, November 4th, 1948, something happened. A Nobel Prize was awarded.
Was the individual an American who won it?
First of all, what was it?
I was kind of hoping you told me. All right.
Yeah.
Well, which type of Nobel Prize was
Yeah,
it?
that's what we have to narrow
The,
down.
Are we looking at
the
a
Nobel
science
Prize in, when I give it to you, you're going to get it. So, in literature.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't think
Well known. Let me see. He was born in St. Louis to a long-established family.
Sinclair Lewis?
Sinclair Lewis is incorrect. But that was a good choice. His grandfather had founded Washington University in St. Louis, so well-known family. His father was a businessman, and his mother, very involved in local charities. The person we're talking about received an undergraduate degree at Harvard, studied at Sorbonne, returned to Harvard to learn Sanskrit, and then studied at Oxford. That guy, all he was doing is getting smart.
Yeah, never held a real job, just kept
Yeah.
going to school.
He became lifelong friends with fellow poet Ezra Pound, and later moved permanently to England, so on him, where he founded a critical quarterly called Criterion.
Wouldn't it have been like Robert Frost or something? 'Cause he said
His first major work, The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, published in 1915, and hailed as the invention of a new kind of poetry. His long, fragmented images and use of blank verse influenced nearly all future poets, as did his masterpiece. And maybe this will help you. His masterpiece was published in Criterion and the American Review Dial in 1922. His masterpiece was titled The Wasteland.
Faulkner?
No?
Yeah, no, this was, I know this, I'm just drawing a
And
blank.
his last name was the last name of a famous comedian. And I'll help you by saying a local comedian.
Pryor?
My favorite comedian.
Eliot?
Yes.
T.S. Eliot?
Yes. Did that help? Did that last clue help?
That last clue helped a
little
lot.
bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Very
Well,
good.
T.S. Eliot wrote the Old Possum's Book of Cats, which is what the musical Cats was based on.
Well, all I can tell you is what I'm reading, because I wouldn't have gotten this question, and even if T.S. I wonder what T.S. stood for. I don't know, for that matter. Hey, we had a great show. A lot of nice people on the program. A lot of good information, and the only thing we need is more rain. And we're going to get it Thursday night, according to Kyle.
Thomas Stearns.
That was his first,
The
but he
TS.
was known as T.S. Eliot.
I can see why.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Chris Buckley, thanks for subbing for Mike Olson. Appreciate it. God love you. And we're going to learn more about your wonderful business. We didn't get a chance to talk too much, did we?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. We'll do it again.
Yes.
Okay. And we'll see you tomorrow. Terry Chamberlain.
Yes, sir.
And in the meantime, have a great day. Remember, God loves you, and so do we. Listen to the rain that's coming.
Whispers on the window like a voice inside my heart. I hear it begging me to stay. How can we deny that it's anything but right? Just listen, listen to the rain. Listen to your heart. Tell me what you need. I can feel it beating as it thunders in the dark. As the storm outside grows stronger, I can't take it any longer.